way. I mean, now they're in the last chance qualifier on Friday, which is going to be quite interesting to see if they're actually going to make it this time. But
are you gonna play?
we don't want to talk about our RMR's turns, you know, like it's been rough. Okay, we don't talk about it.
Who knows? Maybe you match up against Astralis, you eliminate them this time. Like the last nail in the coffin. That would be hilarious.
That would actually be really funny.
If that would happen, you know, then I'm announcing I'm coming back.
Add some fun to your space with Xtrfy, designed in Sweden with focus on quality products built on experience. You're looking at Project 4, their 4th generation of products with super cool colorways to stand out, with matching sets to satisfy with a solid B4 bungee, lightweight ergonomic M4 mouse, the K4 keyboard is fantastic, all of which are performance focused, and finish it off with colorful GP4 mouse mats that are bold in design and smooth on the surface. The retro theme in particular has got the feels. Complete your setup with Xtrfy. No regrets, guaranteed.
Hey buddy, let me show you how to fix that. Bitskins.com. Buy and sell skins instantly. Deposit and withdraw funds instantly with crypto or directly to your Visa card. Bitskins.com, the best skin marketplace.
N1Bet is here to make your world brighter. Bet anytime, anywhere. Just go to n1bet.com and get your free bet with promo code HLTV. When everything is clear and transparent, play is pleasure. n1bet.com. Your bet, your game.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm stuffing my face with some Vegemite toast. A delicious smoothie here. But what's most important is we're back with HLTV Confirmed. Episode number, it doesn't matter. We're here. You're going to enjoy it, I hope. And so are our lovely guests on the show tonight. And we only have one of them. Chris is the guest. Everybody else is a bit irregular. You can see him here. And you probably watch him every day because I got him on the fucking telly half the time. Him, Forrest, they're all playing Counter-Strike these days. And it's great to watch. Now, look, let me try and do these introductions in order. We've got the producer. He's known to be a bit of an XQC juicer. It's Lucas. And the crowd goes, wow. And then Lucas goes, hi, everybody.
Hello,
and that's
everyone.
how that works. You'll say hi, Lucas?
Hello.
Okay, cool. Nice. And of course, I didn't come up with a rhyme for Striker. He is a bit of a...
Not a hiker. We've seen that.
No,
already.
we've done this one. Anyway, we'll brainstorm for next week. We've got the Striker, the man who's been on the ground the whole time in the Copenhagens. Striker, how are you finding the price of everything in Denmark?
It is pretty expensive. It is an expensive country.
Okay.
Cab from our hotel to the player hotel, which will remain nameless, is about $50, which is quite a lot.
That's a lot of money to go from point A to point B. You consider walking?
It's kind of far.
Maybe earlier.
Hitchhiking. Yeah, that would be.
You could have become a hiker. See, it comes full circle. And a man who loves eucalyptus leaves as much as the koalas. It's Prof. Have you recovered from the giggles last week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even laugh anymore when someone says koala. So I went through an intervention, and it worked. If anyone needs help of this sort, I can point them in the right direction.
We'll see how many giggles we get tonight about the qualifiers here. But I forgot to mention the sponsors, or did I forget? Maybe I wanted to get a few more viewers in here so that they can hear about our lovely partners who make this show possible. We've got Xtrfy. They've been here from the beginning. If you need a mouse, a keyboard, all that good stuff, you know where to check them out. Head over to xtrfy.com. And we also have a couple of other sponsors, Bitskins. Now, those bad boys, if you're in the marketplace to buy, sell, trade some skins, head over there. and do all that good stuff, because skins, it's its whole market. It's a big thing. People seem to like the pretty colors on their guns. And last but not least, N1Bet. Remember to gamble responsibly. Okay, cool. We've got all the housekeeping out of the way. The introductions are there. And I suppose, Lucas, that means we should get into the recent news.
Did we mention Get Right, maybe?
No.
I mentioned Chris at the start.
Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't even notice that. I said it quiet. I'm like, okay.
Okay, all right. Are we playing the bumper? We're not playing the bumper.
No.
All right,
Okay.
fuck, I'll do it again. Hold up. Everybody go back about 30 seconds. Everyone going back about 30 seconds? Everyone's good? All right, here we go.
I feel like going back 30 seconds would be pretty useful, but it would also kind of cancel out the use of condoms in the world. You wouldn't really need it, right?
Well, now we're back on condom discussion here. I was going to come up with a nice intro for Chris here. Now, I was just piecing it together. I actually thought about it before when I was making my Vegemite toast. I was like, how am I going to introduce Chris? I was going to go with something along these lines. Chris, tell me how you feel about this. I'm going to see if I can set this up. These days, he's a full-time streamer, but Hall of Famer, absolute legend of the Counter-Strike scene, and all-around nice guy. Get Right joins us on tonight's show.
It was pretty decent. It was
Come on, it was only positive there, mate.
I mean, it was
Hall of
super
Famer.
positive. No, am I even? I don't think even they
Don't
did
even
that to
start, mate. If you don't think you're a Hall of Famer, I don't know who else qualifies.
me.
Where is the Hall of Fame? Who is in it?
Isn't it like Heat on Potty and then K-Sharp maybe? From CS?
Oh, you mean the one that they're giving out
actual
over there?
Yeah.
No, well, in my
over
book,
there, he doesn't even want to be
In my books,
organized.
you're a Hall of Famer. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I think look, Prof, is Get Right a Hall of Famer in your books?
Well, of course.
The answer is yes. What
course.
should have been an instant
That
yes.
was such a long pause.
I'm just saying we don't have a Hall of
God.
Fame yet, but definitely when HLTV makes our own Hall of Fame in Odense, it's going to be, first of all, the #1 attraction on TripAdvisor. By far, 5-star rated. It's going to be like Froggyland in Split. Whoever comes to Split knows about Froggyland. Amazing. That's literally going to build Odense up, that Hall of Fame. And Get Right is going to be one of the first 5 people for sure. Like,
So,
Five?
initial batch.
Wait, hold up. I
Initial
just want
batch.
everything
Well, now
about
you-
me. I don't
now
want
you need
I
the
don't
other
want to
4
share with
people.
anyone before, you know? Only about me, you know. I'm not getting that enough attention anymore, so I need to only be about me, okay?
Do you
Well-
have anything you want to say to Nyanya, Chris?
Can I swear here?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, fuck off, Neo.
There you go. Now, for those who aren't familiar, Nyanya makes the rounds in the morning pugs. Now, I haven't been in the morning pugs for a while, but I know that Chris is still putting up with his antics alongside of Maniac and Freiberg and all those guys. You guys have been playing a lot of Counter-Strike, Chris. You've been grinding. You've even playing in the RMRs just a couple. Was it the first one you guys played in?
I think we have played all of them. I missed the second one because we had a big 10-year anniversary here in Stockholm for CSGO.
You got a tattoo, right?
Oh, yeah, I got a tattue, yeah.
Can you show it?
I mean, it's on my legs. I don't know, like, if it's going to be shown over here. It's a pretty small one.
There we can see it.
Can't really
Ish.
see much.
Okay, yeah. There's a 10-year anniversary thing for Counter-Strike in Stockholm. That makes sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, I always want to have a tattoo, so... But long story short, yes, I was fucked up drunk. Yes, it should have been bigger. Yes, I have no idea why it's on my ankle. I don't know. Like, I can't give an explanation. But, you know, CS is part of my life. I got to give it some sort of, you know, acceptance and also, like, appreciation for everything they've done to me. And I mean, for everyone who's sitting here, you know, like, I don't think we would have been here if it wasn't for this beautiful game that's been giving so much to us. So, I had to have something, you know, eventually. Maybe I'll just put it on my forehead next time. I don't know. We'll see.
Slightly extreme. You're going to go from an ankle tattoo to a face tattoo. I think normally most people like either have to be part of like the emo scene or go to prison. So unless you're going to go into one of the two,
I mean, we
I
can
don't
start
know,
our
I
own
don't
trend, no? We can do that one, you know, our own
all
trend.
of us get face tattoos.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Well, you
or
go
like a neck
first.
one. Here. I go first.
Yeah, and
Oh,
we'll see
God.
how it looks, and then the rest of us can make a choice on that. But you're right. Like I think that sentiment there, we may as well spend some time on this here because we just have the recent news, and then we're going to be watching one of the RMR matches. But that sentiment that you were talking about there is one that I think a lot of people have been thinking about recently, right? You saw on the 21st, everybody tweeting out about how Counter-Strike has affected their life in a positive way. And for a lot of us, we were involved in Counter-Strike before CSGO came out, right? So it's part of who we are at this point, right? Like most of us wouldn't be, you know, where we are today. We have a lot to thank about a game which was a modification of fucking Half-Life. It's kind of crazy when you frame it like that, right, boys?
Yeah.
It's pretty surprising that we get to do what we do. Doesn't make any sense. Still doesn't. It's very hard to explain to anyone that's not into esports, like what the fuck we are doing and how this is like. It's always the same when you kind of tell it to someone that doesn't know anything about gaming. It's like, so I talk about video games. It's like, that's sweet. I'm like, yeah, it's not. It's a real job.
It's an actual business.
I actually get paid quite well, probably like 3 times you in this stupid country.
Whoa.
But I'm not gonna say it.
We're talking about the money.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, goodbye.
Yo, listen, motherfucker, we made bank round here. We're all rolling around, blinged out of control. All right. Let's get into the recent news, Lucas. All right, and we're here. Now, if you're like me, which you're probably not, but maybe you are, it feels like there's so much going on at the moment. RMRs, Blast, you playing Counter-Strike again, you're maybe not out in the sun as much, it's the fucking birthday, there's new maps, you're looking at stickers, you're making crafts, I think that's what the cool kids are calling them these days. You're getting music kits. Everyone's having a great time. Everyone's having fun. But you know who is probably having the most fun? It could be Striker, because as I mentioned, he's down there on the sidelines right now, Blast, keeping his finger on the pulse and checking in with how things are going. And you've been conducting a bunch of interviews, obviously, with all the players down there. Which right now, Striker, would be the standout, right, of the interviews you've done, and maybe a bit of why?
The ones from Blast would be, let's see. I mean, there were a couple. The Dexter one had a really pretty good headline, I have to say. That was a fun one, because that was about the other operas that were making jokes that Dexter should replace them, and apparently, at that time, organizations were already lining up some bids on him. So that was a good one. Twist one, even though it was a short one, it was kind of like an interesting point of view on like how teams were making too many changes over the break and not really sticking together for that long. Talking about teams like G2 and stuff like that. So, I mean, those are like 2 of the ones that stand out. But honestly, like in general, I don't want to, big myself up or whatever, but I feel like the interviews have been actually pretty good, because it's just kind of like the topic that everybody is super into, because I've been talking to the new players all the time and new teams. And so that's always something that brings some interesting answers and just like an interesting angle. So I've kind of like pretty much all of them.
Yeah, well, this is the hot off the presses, right? Like this is the first event out of the break. We're seeing these new rosters. Now, for those unfamiliar, we covered the format last week. We were just discussing what these best of 1 matches meant in this double, well, it's not elimination bracket. I guess it technically, I don't know. It's a bit of a fucking circus. But the results, I'll link them to you here, Lucas. You can bring them up for everybody at home, and we can quickly go through these. And then I want to jump into maybe just general thoughts, because I'm sure we've all, whacked on a couple of games, but I don't imagine everybody's watched every match for the reason of the format. And a tweet that you liked today, Prof. Or did you retweet it? I don't know if you liked it. I shouldn't say because you retweeted it that you liked it. There's a difference.
The Giga Chad opinion from one of our tweeters on HLTV's in a reply somewhere. What was it? He said, I want to quote him and credit as well.
I'll link it to
it's coming up. Mate. Here it is. It's Silvio Jr. 1 on Twitter. He says, open qualifiers is where teams get exposed. I don't take invitation tournaments seriously. That's why I only watch the major, which I supported with Giga Chat opinion, to be honest. And it is, in a way, it's... Of course, there's a bit of spice on it. Maybe not 100% true, but there is something special about the major now, especially considering all of the partner leagues that came propped up and how the formats work nowadays. That the major is essentially the only tournament where everyone starts at the same level.
So pure.
Practically, yeah, very pure.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting opinion. Chris, what do you think of this, right? Because we know the partner teams with ESL, we know the partner teams with Blast. What do you think of this angle, right? I know it is a little bit controversial, but do you have an opinion on these partner teams?
I mean, if we just take Blast, for example, as someone that loves the game for a long time and like watches as much as I can, except if it's weekend that I'm really like, don't even watch CS. But like, what the fuck is this group stage? I'm very sorry to say it. Like, why do I see like 400 games before it's actually deciding who's actually qualified for the next round? Like, what is this? Like, maybe I'm like old and grumpy in that way, but can't we just get a fucking like straight up bracket, see who actually goes on top, and then actually qualify for next round? Like, what is it? Isn't that the same issue actually the last time when it was the Blast group stage, when NiP faced like NAVI like 4 or 3 times or something, and then eventually NAVI qualified, but like NiP won like the important games, but it couldn't like seal it or something. Like, I don't know. It's a complete mess if you ask me. Like,
yeah,
it pisses me off as a viewer in a way, but in the same time, we have to give a little bit praise to Blast for something, which is actually to try different format than the regular ones. But in the same time, like if people remember the last one, like I do really remember that closely by, it's like, why are we still doing it again? Like,
yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting, right? Because this seeding round, when we discussed it last week, I said one of the positives was the fact that we haven't seen some of these teams, e.g., for example, G2, for example, with these rosters. So it's great to kind of get a couple of extra matches and get to see how they are. But the more I think about that, there's no intensity. So it's almost like practice where there's
like
consequences.
It still doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah, there's consequences, but there's a backstop. It's like, no matter what happens, we're not eliminated, and we get another crack, and we still have, like, depending on which group you played in, a couple of extra days. So yeah, I think as we discussed last week, it is a little bit like pulling the wool over the viewer's eyes, as if those groups really have a massive impact. Yeah, they obviously have an impact in how these next brackets get set up and the ramifications of that. But then as well, in this stage, it's also not cutthroat either, right? Because I think as long as you don't lose the opening round in that bracket, you still have another opportunity to still try and qualify. So that right there is where it does get a little bit frustrating. I can split it. We've discussed, yeah.
I mean, I was just gonna say that, like, if you look at a team like Vitality, they played 3 matches, they played second in the group, and they will not play a match that actually decides anything until they're 5th, I want to say. Wait, Vitality, I'm just trying to find the actual, until their 5th match that they play in Blast, which is going to be either their next to last or their last, depending on how they do in the round before that. That's the only one. That their 4th or 5th match is the one that actually decides anything.
Okay, so that,
so after 2 best of ones that they lost, they will play this second round of the knockout stage, which doesn't actually qualify or eliminate you, because either you go into the match that qualifies you, or the match that qualifies you anyway. It's just you don't have those 2 chances, so it's crazy, honestly. Like, it's just it's way too forgiving, way too like useless, for the majority of the format. So like, why I
think an extra problem is that like the Blast set up their broadcast, it's like never double matches, always like one broadcast, right? If these seeding games were like 2 days of like double games, everything's just happening, instead of having like 3 groups going over 3 days, maybe have like 1 day of all of the seeding games being played out, and then we have maybe 1-2 day break, and then we go into the actual matches. It wouldn't feel that bad. This way you literally spend almost 2 weeks when the first like week is completely pointless. And I feel like that's like a waste for the schedule that we have in CS. Like, this week could have been an actual tournament.
This I mean, that's the biggest part of kind of like the people that I've been talking to here, like players and stuff like that, have the most gripe with, like, why is Astralis waiting? I didn't actually talk to Astralis, just to clarify. They didn't actually say anything like this, but Astralis won the first group, right? And they waited 8 days for the next match. They have 8 days between winning the group and playing the match that qualifies them to the fucking second stage. Like, imagine being somebody who's not Astralis, who doesn't live here, and just like cannot go home, and like a Brazilian team or something or whatever, like they're just going to practice for 8 days waiting for their next match or whatever it is. That's just unbelievable.
How would it be if that was a Brazilian team? Wasn't like mainly Brazil one of the partner teams?
And
they sold their spot,
but like, how would that happen if they were like, let's say they were Astralis this time and they're stuck in Europe and they need to go back to Brazil to play?
I think they stick around.
No, everybody sticks around. Like, I think everybody's still here, and so they're not going home. I think like NiP went home, and like Astralis, obviously, they're from Denmark, so it's not that big of a deal if they go home. But I think as far as I know, everybody else has kind of been sticking around. Maybe Heroic as well have gone home. I don't actually know.
But it's an interesting point, right? Because of Schengen days, right? In Europe. If you're
for CS players and stuff like that, that could be a problem. Yeah,
that could be a bit of an issue. Sorry, Chris, what were you saying?
No, but I was thinking, like, since the RMRs is going on right now in all different regions, I was thinking about made in Brazil since they had to qualify, right?
Right.
If they were Astralis, had to wait 8 days till the next stage and last, they have to go back and forth between 2 different time zones and hopefully make it in like one of the first rounds. I don't know, like that would be tough, you know, in that way. Astralis at least have 8 days to try to get their spot now for all qualifiers in a way. I mean, now they're in the last chance qualifier on Friday, which is going to be quite interesting to see if they're actually going to make it this time.
Yeah, but are you gonna play?
we don't want to talk about our RMR's turns, you know, like it's been rough. Okay, we don't talk about it.
Who knows? Maybe you match up against Astralis, you eliminate them this time. Like the last nail in the coffin. That would be hilarious.
That would actually be really funny.
If that would happen, you know, then I'm announcing I'm coming back. I don't give a I'm like, I don't care. I'm joining a tier 3 teams, going full time. I don't know. You know. No, I'm just kidding. Never happened.
You can flip it
without that getting part. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, with the I probably will play the last qualifier, yes. But the problem is I actually going on a week break, so I don't know if I will.
Okay.
So I don't know. I haven't had a vacation this year at all, so I was thinking about taking 1 week just to do nothing, basically.
Probably a good time of you to do so, mate.
And then I can see me watch the Blast games and, you know, I don't know, laugh a little bit if someone fucked up and say, well, I did that one time, you know. You know, you can do that nowadays when you're not playing professionally. You can laugh at people making mistakes, you know?
Yeah.
Because you've been there yourself, then you know it's fine, you know?
It all works out in the end, right? No, I think we hit some key points here. One of them was about this format and maybe not everybody watching every game. Now, I'm kind of happy that Blast had this for the first couple of days because my parents were here, which meant I didn't feel obliged to be there focused on every game. When Justin was playing with G2, I made sure to watch those games. Maybe I shouldn't have. But I did. So I think let's just kind of get the cliff notes here of the initial results. So
did you watch with your parents?
Yeah, because they have a lot of questions, right? Like they do,
especially
like,
about the format.
No, I was explaining to them. Like lots of details and like also like the differences in the type of events that get run and the teams who are there. And like my dad. He forgets the S. He knows JKS, right? Because I played with him, but he's like, oh yeah, so which team is JK in now? I'm like, it's JKS, Dad, you know, like, but they were interested in certain things, and I was explaining to them stuff that Blast do really well from a broadcast perspective. Like I don't know what you guys thought, but I liked the setup they had. When I saw it, I didn't quite grasp it, but the fact that it's like one player in the like Freya in the middle with Maniac and Pimp, and then around them are the players. How is it to be in there, Striker? Is it a cool atmosphere?
Yeah, it's almost like you feel like you are in a place where you shouldn't be because like there's like a game ends and let's say I'm doing an Insta story or something and just like doing something and then like I see them like those three just go into the middle of the I don't know if it's an octagon or whatever it is exactly, but like let's call it an octagon. I think maybe it's less, who knows. And I just realized I'm gonna be in the shot now. Like at any second now, I probably will be in a shot, you know. So that's just how it feels, you know. It feels like you're constantly like about to photobomb somebody. Like that's pretty much how it feels.
Yeah, I liked, obviously, again, they brought back the glass, which is cool. The teams weren't always like directly across from each other because I don't think they moved them around, which was fun, but you still get that kind of atmosphere in that studio. And I think for what it is, right, the type of group stage it is, something like that feels a bit more intimate, or maybe you get that feeling. I think that's good. I think it's good for a group stage of something which takes, essentially, each Blast season takes 6 months, right? Obviously, I'm rounding up here. Let's say it takes 4 months, but you get the point. And this is the opening stage, which we've already discussed. The format maybe not feeling like it gives us a lot, and then when you add on top of that all these teams are partner teams who get invited to be there anyway. You know, now we're starting to get in some deep dark waters. But in terms of watching the games and getting to see some of the teams back in the server, I thought it was nice. You know, and Blast always do a quality job. So it's great to see. And I like the fact that they were even like dressed down a little bit for Blast standards. It wasn't all suits. It was like, okay, you know, there's, you know, and I was like, nice. Because you guys know how much I fucking hate suits.
Positives.
It's the little details for me, you know. But I liked it, and I think that they can do more with that, because having like Freya jump behind one of the players with a mic, or they just come and they join over with the analyst, that I think that there's a lot of positives. Now, I keep swinging away from the results. So let's focus on these results. Lucas, bring up the link again, and let's go through Group A. And anybody has anything that jumps off the page, we can stop and we can talk about it here. But opening rounds, Vitality over OG. That was Vitality's debut with Spinks. So fortunately, they got the victory there. They went on to take down NiP, and then they lost to Astralis in that final matchup there, which would have put them in the top of the group, the furthest down the next
Astralis
bracket.
really good in these BO1s, right?
On LAN.
Yeah. Oh.
On LAN.
On LAN.
Okay.
On LAN. No, but okay. So we
feels like they don't have. Maybe they just don't have stamina, man. That's the thing. They're like
too many games in a day.
One horse race or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they had to play 4 here. So isn't that about how many games you play in a day with the RMRs? How many games would you play in a day with the RMRs?
I mean, like 5, 6, I think. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well,
How much did you play, Chris?
I mean, we only came to 3rd round, okay? Each qualifiers.
I
At
watched
least
you guys
two of
versus,
them.
was it Avant-Garde on Inferno?
Oh god, don't remind me.
Okay, I
That.
won't.
It was the Stonix law in place, okay? that was the thing.
11-4?
There's the 11-4 CT, of course, won the pistol, and then everything escalated. And yeah, I don't know. It went to shit, you know. But I have one thing to say about Vitality though, which is pretty interesting since they added up Spinks there. And I remember when, for example, we're gonna specific one game Vitality against NiP. I remember Spinks had such a like bad T1/2, but he really stepped up.
It was Inferno, right?
Yeah, in Inferno. I think he had like almost like 0-12 or like 1-11 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got like 3 kills or something totally that half. And I think that's a super impressive, especially when, you know, there's a lot of eyes on his shoulders because he came from, you know, hot from ends. He's put in the Vitality, who has been like having such a mixed result ever since they made this cool lineup. And I think that's like a good like show off, especially for a guy that just got added into the team, into that group. I didn't really watch the grand final in that group, so I don't know what really happened. And I just know it's overtime game, but I at least noticed that he played well in both of the games they won in the beginning before the grand final. And that's a good showing, at least for Vitality, because it feels like they should be playing well. They should be going like far in every tournament they play, but there's something stopping them. And I don't know what's really the issue there. Maybe it's the communication in English. I don't know.
Yeah, that
Yep.
one right there, I think definitely. And there was an interview with Apex, wasn't it? With Striker that you did, where he mentioned that he will communicate with Zywoo in French.
Yeah, I
think
mean
he
they were still going to do this. I mean, they have been doing that for a while, where they've been kind of like in clutches and stuff like that, where they switch to Danish or French. If it ends up in a way where
there's no Danes and French. No,
that's exactly why I wanted to ask, right? Like if Spinks coming in actually changes anything in that aspect. But at the same time, like it's kind of the same thing as obviously, you know, when you're outside of the game and just like talking between each other, like it might feel a little bit awkward that you have nobody like from your country when you have like those two maybe potentially like sticking together and stuff like that. I don't know, but it feels like they haven't really changed much in that aspect. It was more interesting to me what he said about just in general having Spinks in the late run scenarios a little bit more with Zywoo, and kind of that almost, when you look at the games that kind of almost got confirmed there, that's kind of what Vitality needed, you know, because they did a lot of the times they did end up in those 3v3s and stuff like that, and actually did make a difference at Spinks. They had somebody they could really rely on apart from Zywoo in those like super late round scenarios. And so that was a big part. And I know that on Mirage, they had a hard rough CT side against Astralis, and Apex was saying that like he felt like it was a lot because of Spinks moving to connector, which is obviously, you know, that's the most important position on the map. Like you just have to know what you're doing there. And so if you're not used to that, you're just going to be, you know, you're not going to get as many openings. You don't see the same opportunities. You know, maybe you're going to be too passive in places where you're supposed to be aggressive, like all these things, you know. So that's kind of how he explained that they had a problem with that CT side. But just in general, like looking at how he fits in, especially the T side, I think that kind of, it does almost feel like what Apex was saying was true, that they have like much better roles now.
Well, Zywoo was back in like great form as well, which was a positive to see right there. I think one of the other details for me with the Spinks story was he played Inferno, which was in a map that Ents played as well. So there's an adjustment period there, and he had a good game, I think, as Chris just outlined before. So what were you looking at as the keys here, Prof? Was this what you're expecting? Like, because it's hard to put too much stock in the result, but it's nice to see the changes, right?
We're talking about specifically about Vitality or the whole
group in general, whichever you feel.
I think it's interesting that Farley dropped like a 1.20 rating almost for the group stage. So that's, I feel like, a big factor of Astralis winning the group eventually. NiP was kind of okay, kind of not super impressive at the same time. A lot of best of ones, not seeding games. So it didn't really take too much out of it. But I think, yeah, what Vitality showed is like a good first step. But they did the same last season, actually. So I'm not really going to put too much stock into it yet. Let's see how it develops. But as we said, also going into it, like this can't be worse. It has to be an upgrade. It's so the only question is how big of an upgrade it is going to be, and I feel like for that we need a bit more time to see how it develops.
Yeah, I look at the OG one as well, and I think the OG situation is kind of like, you know, you're in a relationship, but you haven't told everybody you're together yet, and the passion's at an all-time high, and you're all lovey-dovey, and everything's good, and then you go official and you put it on Facebook as your status, and shit starts getting rocky. Because OG, right? It looked a bit rough around the edges. And obviously they have some newer names here, right? In terms of, for most people, right? The Neofrags and the Fikus, they're still quite new at this level of Counter-Strike. So it was interesting to see how they went. They still have more opportunities to play. But this team, I got excited when Dexter joined because I think the way I explained it, I made a tweet about it, was they just feel like this mob of brawlers now. Because for me, Nexa always felt like a bit of a more brawly, like free, looser in-game leader. And then the type of players that all just want to fight and like get in your face. And look, it's going to be hard because that's the type of play style, if you're going to run that style of Counter-Strike, that you need to be on point. Like that's the type where everybody needs to be super sharp, right? So I think it's a bit of a curious one there about OG, but I'm not going to pass any judgment. And Astralis, let's save talking about them because I'm sure we'll talk about them with the RMR overlap when we start doing this co-streaming business, which is going to be very, very soon, actually. Okay, so quickly diving into Group B. Look, HooXi and Complexity, they won a game.
They won a game.
And it was against NAVI too.
It's great. They won it, and yes,
and they could have won the second one as well. They could have won again.
Yeah,
could have won against Liquid, right?
Yeah,
so
they probably should have won against Liquid. It was like Vertigo 14-10, and they were like in a 5v2 or something and lost that. That basically decided the game. Like that, they probably should have been in the final.
Yeah, that was look, I think Complexity with HooXi, I don't think many of us are going to question that's an upgrade there. What do you think about Liquid, Chris? I'm interested to get your opinion because I think we're on, like the rest of us are pretty high on this Yakinda edition. We think this is really going to bring Liquid back to consistent form and contendership.
It's going to take a while, to be honest.
Okay.
I think like he is the piece that's missing in that team because HooXi, surely I'm very biased and I believe that HooXi could be in Liquid, but I don't think he doesn't fit with those 4 players.
Okay.
That's my thing. And like I said, I'm very biased. So if we just remove him from the picture, we don't talk about him because Yakinda is such a great name and a great player, very aggressive, and is needed for that kind of a team that needs that kind of a player, in my opinion. However, I believe that just because of the different like issues they're having with his contract and all those things, we don't know if he's going to continue for a long period of time or it's going to be stopped. I don't know. Like, I think that's going to be one of the things that's just hanging there in the background, knowing, okay, do we really have this guy as our 5th permanent, or is this going to just be a stand-in for a while, or do we need to add a new player, and who's that going to be, in my opinion? But like Liquid is a good team in my opinion, like overall with Yakinda in it. Do I feel like he needs a little bit more time to settle in? Yes, I do believe so because of British Pro playstyle back in the days. It was so much different than Liquid is doing right now. And he's just used to a game being that, you know, very... Like, I think there was one interview, one of the new guys in that VP roster, or what are they called nowadays? I don't know, what was his nickname? He said like that game calls very differently, that they're not used to. And I think like for anyone who's been playing with game for such a long time, it's going to be a process of, you know, resetting himself into any team that he attends to. I think that Yakinda needs a little bit of time, you know, it helps Liquid to understand the game more and more in meta, especially. I think it's going to be until like end of the year, if we continue to that, we actually see them fighting to the glory that we've seen Liquid done before, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
Norbert you were talking about.
Norbert, yeah. That was the thing.
Norbert and Fame, right? Those are the 2 boys over there. Outsiders apparently rumored. I just read this one on, I think it was Reddit yesterday or whatever, to be potentially going to Bleed, like which is they have, I think they're Southeast Asian. They had a Valorant team with Pith in it. I think he's recently just left that team. So there's a little interesting little tidbit right there. But yeah, it's curious about it's very curious about the Liquid thing, right? Because I felt like North American Counter-Strike was going to have to rebuild from the bottom up, but it feels like Yakinda's come here and kind of saved them from that fall off, because Elige, NAF, OC, like the team's going to be sick, and like Yakinda seems like that perfect piece. And look, they had some good games. The NAVI winning, however, with Headtrick standing in for Simple. What does this say, Striker? What does that say, that NAVI are able to do that without Simple playing?
I really don't know what to think about that, to be honest. I really don't understand. I just don't understand how this makes any sense, to be honest. Like, you lose the best player in the world, like fucking the GOAT, you know, and you just like, you stroll through the group. Like, yeah, sure, they lost to Complexity, and they had a close game with G2, but then they just fucking destroy Complexity again and Liquid as well. So it's like, it's difficult to understand how they even made that happen.
Can you make any sense of this, Prof?
No, not at all. I mean, especially the way the last two games went, fucking hilarious.
In fact, they're the highest rated player for them as well. Over the group.
Also,
like,
but Bit also fucking destroyed those two games. So I don't know. It's I think how we make sense is like Blade is genius. That's it.
Okay, we'll just give all the credit to Blade.
No. It's an electronic effect. He's the new IGL. Come on,
but
boys.
There you go.
Who called the pistols? Because apparently it was Simple.
Yeah.
Did you see that tweet?
Yeah, but it's probably electronic been getting 20 pages of Simple before. It's like, if I'm ever gone, you do this, and if someone fucks up, you say this. Like it's gonna be like, okay.
But who tutored electronic? Who was his first big IGL? It's Blade. So
it all comes back to Blade.
He was preparing for this for 5 years.
I mean, how many talents have you actually picked for the CS region? Like, when you really think about it, it's back in like 1.6. Like, it's ridiculous how many players he's been like getting from basically nothing to superstars. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, so he had simple in his too. Yeah. What?
It was Nero. He tweeted like a little infographic, basically saying exactly what Chris like. So he's got it listed here: Amazing Gaming, Hooch, Markov, Starix, Angel, DTS Gaming, Kutcher and LMBT, United, Adren, Kirchnet, Bondic, Courage, Simple and vENdetta, Dat Team, Flamey, Flipside, Electronic, Gamba, Axile, and then the Navi players, Headtrick, Perfecto, Monacy, Bit, etc.
Of course, not all of these were like no-name players when he played with them. That was like Jonta made this point on Twitter, and it wasn't the point. It was just like, these are the players he played with or IGL this sometime along his career, and it's cool to see that he isn't one of the IGLs that was like only good because he had good players, which is obviously not the case, because he had the world edits and I don't know, all of these, the Sharas of the world, and still did well. So
they had some nerdy executes. I really like that Mirage one they had there with all like the mollies and stuff to clear out the entire side. That was good fun. So all right, so the Navi mystery exists, but so does the G2 mystery. Simple's going to return. He'll be back. He'll be in the server playing when Blast kicks off tomorrow, but Navi aren't playing until the weekend, right? They're playing on Saturday, so still a bit of time before you get to see Simple play. Maybe he didn't want to go there for the seeding matches because he felt the same as we do. Who knows? Maybe
now he's also going in for just one best of 3, which is also kind of a waste.
Pretty baller though, isn't it? Pretty fucking baller. I'll rock up. You guys, it doesn't matter. We'll come in. I'll rock up. It's all good. But this G2 situation, they played against Liquid in the opening game, and the opening game, I kind of seemed all right. Like, I liked how it started, right? They get the pistol, things looking good. But then their T side on Mirage, a lot of HooXi running in and dying on his own. Nobody really let a trade. It's going to take some time for a team like G2 to get their act together. And they're obviously going to get critiqued very hardly. They then lost 16-14 to Navi with the stand-in factor. Let's frame it this way. Chris, what's your opinion of the additions that G2 have made? Do you think they made the right call? Do you think they should have stuck with some of the parts they had? What do you think of G2? Because everybody knows what we think.
No. They've done the right signings, in my opinion. It's going to take time, though, because I believe that HooXi actually kind of brings something better than Alexi B did before. But at the same time, Alexi B is a great IDL, in my opinion. I think that he didn't just have the right players around him. That's the mysterious with him. But there was one meme that I saw on Reddit. I think that someone like did a short like clip of one of the Mirage games that HooXi like trying to plant the bomb and like falling back and forth and going anywhere. That's just that mysterious place. Like when you're getting into a team like G2 that's gonna perform, and why aren't they getting the bomb plant? Like, come on, like help the guy, like at least get the bomb plant, and then if he has to die, he has to die, you know. But And we will see it now. Will we see it soon? No. Like, I think it's going to take time. Then we have to see Nico going godlike mode like Nico's done 200 times before if they're going to be doing any deep rounds in tournaments. JK's really good player. Not sure really if that's going to be working out because of the different playstyle, like Hunter and him.
He did also struggle, and I feel like individually, that was just like aim.
Yeah, but then
out of form kind of stuff on the second game that they played.
Yeah, I haven't been coaching him this time, so you know it's not like a Katowice. So I haven't had him in the back room yelling at him yet. So maybe they'll have to fly me over to Copenhagen. But I think you're being very kind, Chris, because the community definitely wasn't, right? The community reaction when they played was "fuck these guys, it's the wrong decision. G2 fucking suck." Like it was like, oh my god, let's light it all on fire. And look, I don't want to give them too many excuses and too many ways out, right? Like you make these changes, you know what situation you're going to find yourself in, you know when the tournaments you're going to be playing are. So look, for me, I just want to see a little bit more promising signs in the next round of play. And the problem for them is they have to run this fucking gauntlet now. They have to play against Big in that opening round. So it's going to be a rough ride. If they beat Big, then they have to play against Vitality, and then they'd have to play against NAVI. Like, we're talking some big names here. So I'm a bit worried for the early stages of G2 here. I don't know. What did you think, Prof? Did you watch these games, or did you just catch the highlights?
Like bits, yeah, not like 100% focused, right? I watched them, they were on, but I was doing things that I watched. I saw some of these JKS whiffs, which were difficult. These were difficult moments for all of the South Eastern Hemisphere, or whatever the fuck Australia is, if it even exists.
The land down under.
More like the online down under.
Whoa, man.
So it was that was a bit rough, and I think Pimp made a good point on the desk, saying like people might be overrating JKS a bit, not in terms of like what he can provide ideally in the future, but like where he is now and his form, not playing for 5 months, I think, and not really even having a PC for a lot of that time. So it wasn't like he was just not in a team. He just was not playing CS at all, and that's gonna be felt for a player like him, who one of his strong points is that like individual capability, right? I'm not saying he's a brain dead player, but like he is a player that you put him in a spot and he's gonna get 2 kills because he is that good, right?
Sure.
And if he doesn't have that, then it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, going to be some grinding going on, I think, for Justin over these next couple of weeks here. Okay, Striker, do you have any takeaways with this? You got any tidbits from being the man on the ground over there with G2? Did you pick anything up?
No, not exactly. I mean, I talked to them. I didn't even talk to them after the run. I did 2 interviews with them before, kind of with HooXi and JKS, and just to talk through. Yeah, of course he did. Just to talk through the change, right, and like the roles and what we were supposed to expect. And I mean, it is kind of what we thought ahead of time, right? That HooXi was going to be the guy who's going to be running in like a maniac. He even said it himself, kind of in that aspect, right? So hasn't been really a big surprise, and I think it's more like, you know, this is I do agree with Ged, right, that this is the kind of a change that will take some time. You know, this is a new game leader coming in. This is a new anchor coming in. Like, a lot of people have been moved around. They have a different in-game leader, you know, who's just kind of like willing to sacrifice a lot, and who has his own, you know, play style in mind. And so like there are going to be awkward moments, you know, where they're not just 100% on the same page. They just don't understand what, you know, they want from each other. Like, so these games are going to be a little bit awkward, I think, for a little bit of time before they get a bit more practice. You know, I think they played for like 10 days up to this point, which is just not enough with a new IGL.
Yeah, we'll keep tabs on them. We'll see how they play coming up. They play on Thursday, tomorrow at 8 o'clock at night. Let's jump down to Group C. Group C is where we had FaZe, EG, Heroic, and Big. Now, I guess some of the bigger little fucking idiot. Some of the key takeaways from Group C, we wanted to see how Heroic were after the break. Obviously, with Yavi, he came in, he had some really good games, I thought. They even managed to top the group after going down to FaZe in the upper final and then coming back. Big with Keto instead of Tizian was one of the question marks. And, of course, EG, which is everybody's favorite roster at the moment. Now, I don't know, does anybody want to dive and jump on the grenade and talk about EG? Because at this point, I don't
What is
even
there
know
to
what
say?
I mean,
anymore.
look, they also played with Rush, right? So like, it's not like we can just go out there and say, okay, like just end this project already. You know, Automatic wasn't even there, and he's the guy who was the kind of like the only one who you could at least to some level rely on. You know, from the first 6 months. You know, so it's just kind of difficult to
it's just more
say
wasted
whether
time, you know.
Yeah, I mean
The
that's
whole
the problem,
thing
right?
just
Like
feels
it
like
just comes in.
wasted time and money. Where's a lighter? Let me fucking burn something, because that's what EG feel like they're doing now, man. It's just like,
Yeah. I mean, the issue is that obviously, you know, again, they're playing with a stand-in essentially. You know, this is not the team that they were practicing with, but it was kind of the same issue where you don't see anybody step up. Like they just don't have that guy who just will just step up and just like go and kill 3 people and, you know, open up a round for you on his own.
They'll qualify for the RMR.
Ooh.
Wow. I mean, they're going to be on the edge for
competition's
one
not great,
quality.
so
They already
yeah.
gave up one quality. Though,
No.
right?
Think about this. They took out 2 teams, which were their biggest competition in North America, by absorbing them into their organization.
But there's like 7 Brazilian teams that can probably beat them at this point. Like, and you don't even count.
But they don't play the Brazilian qualifier.
If they're
Team
going
one
to get
competes
into
in
the
North
RMR, right. I thought you said to the major. Never mind.
No. I mean to the RMR.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think
they bought the competition. They bought a spot in the RMR.
Yeah. Right. So
I mean, they don't really have any. They like, if you look at the teams that Complexity play, like they don't really have that much competition there. Yeah, so it would be a really big fuck up if they didn't qualify even this early into the team. You know,
it is wild to me that Stan wanted to join that team, knowing that he wouldn't get an opportunity to compete at any of the larger events.
I mean,
isn't that crazy?
But who else? But who do you join? Right? Like if you don't join one of those EG rosters, like
yeah, you're right.
Go ahead.
If I can say something, I actually had a long discussion with Soham not too long about the whole EG project. Like all 3 different teams. Surely I can't go in too much in what the private stuff were, but it actually very fascinating. Like the whole project, actually, what you're gonna do with all the 3 teams. Like let's say the A team, BC, whatever you call them, because it's actually called colors. I always forget what the colors are of the team. But let's say like the A team is not performing to the level, then actually the B team will actually get the chance more often. So there is actually like things that actually could make sense in the long run, and how they actually do their training, etc. It actually makes more sense. So I think actually it would be interesting time for you guys, especially HLTV side, to actually do a way more deeper interview with him, like about like what are really the goal with like the teams, and actually how do they do it and prepare. Because for me, from an out standpoint, and how he explained things, it actually was very interesting.
I mean, I have the reverse card. I already did that interview, and I did like a half an hour with him. So
that's
this is something I've already done.
But
that's
the details that you're talking about, Chris, because that's the thing. I didn't want, when I saw this, I didn't want to give too harsh of a judgment. First of all, I'm kind of tired of like going in on this, right? Like it at that point, it'd been a dead horse. But second of all, the concepts themselves make sense. But whether or not that works in Counter-Strike is what they're going to have to answer. So
it's also the problem. The problem for me is also like the first team is not good.
True.
The first team is really
true.
Average at best in terms of all competitive salary teams that exist. I'm not talking about like top 20. Like they are top 40 team in the world, 50. They're in that range. So that's what annoys me about this project. Like they don't have the foundation, like one good team to build off of. It. Like, oh, we have something and now we're expanding. You know, their first step is like expanding, and then you're never going to have like a good first team if you don't have 3 really good players. And I don't think they have that right now. They have,
I get what you're saying,
a prospect, 2 washed up players, 1 guy that's pretty good, and an absolute gamble of an IGL. So
yeah, but look, the prospect, like if we want to try and find something shiny, I liked Hext in the interview that I saw him do. He was well spoken. You know, he presented himself well, and a lot of people will probably go, that doesn't fucking matter. They got owned, but it does matter, because first of all, it shows you the type of individual he is, and this is the first time he's playing this level of Counter-Strike. His first game was against FaZe. Here, dude, you want to get fucking owned by the best team in the world? Here you go. That's not a fun exercise for anybody, right? And he seemed like, look, it didn't blow me away, but he also, I didn't sit here and go, he's the reason EG are losing, right?
No,
so at least I've got something here that I can feel like, let's see where this kid goes, you know? So it's not, I'm really clutching at straws here, but I'm trying to be more positive in life, guys, because I don't want to die a miserable old man. So yeah, look, does anybody want to get their last punch in EG and we'll try and move on? Anybody else want to?
I feel like because they've been on the ground for about 6 months at least. You can't punch. You have to crouch down and like maybe squat to get a punch in.
So we need to stop. They're already dead. To go on.
That's the horse. We are beating the dead horse.
Fair enough. What about big or heroic? I think both of them may be in a similar boat in a lot of people's minds in terms of like a new player. This is it.
I found it. There you go.
I was just wanted to get this out of the way. I put this in our little group chat, but I want to kind of get the consensus. People in chat, listeners at home, Chris is here as well. So what if we do it this way, guys? Because I'm fed up of substitute being thrown around. Stand-in being thrown around when I think a more apt term would be substitute, especially if the player is in that organization, right? They might not be in the main team, but they're in the academy team, or they're in like EG have team ABC, whatever the fuck it is, right? That should be a substitute, and a stand-in is where they're not involved with the team. If they come from a free agency or they come from another team on loan or something. How do we feel about the terms?
So by your logic, like let's say Keto until he got signed would have been a substitute instead of him, a stand-in, and then now obviously Hattrick would be a substitute and not a stand-in. While I don't know, or they're now playing with hats, like that would be a substitute. Like he is still tied to the organization. He played with them until like 2 weeks ago. And now, oh my god, they're playing with the stand-in. It's literally the guy that played in this roster for 2 years. It's not really. I do like the distinction just because of it's not the same. Like it's obviously within the same organization, or he played with the team before, so it's not like he's just coming into an entirely new system that he's just not familiar with, and it's just like there should be no expectations. So I think I just like that distinction. Yeah.
I mean,
is it semantics?
Isn't that because of how much bigger the CSGO industry has become? Because it's been part of the European scene landscape for forever, so it's easy to say a stand-in instead of actually using the correct word for that in a way.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, nowadays it's becoming the norm that we get a stand-in only suddenly because someone is sick or whatever it is.
Because of COVID,
and because of COVID actually made everything worse. So I think it's better to just remove that word away completely. If it's not really directly someone's not part of the team, like JKS was, that's about it. If it's part of the junior team, whatever, then it's a substitute. That's what you use, in my opinion.
Nice. We got the Chris seal of approval here as well. I'm guaranteeing you that Hall of Fame spot now, Chris. I like you've agreed with me here. This is good. What were we talking about? We were talking about heroic or big. Now look, any takeaways, any keys, Striker?
I was going to say big is, it was more about the interview that I did with them, because I didn't actually, I didn't listen to them, and obviously I don't really speak German, so I can't really speak to how much of a second voice Keto has been. But that was kind of the interesting takeaway for me for why they made this change, because obviously a lot of people will think, okay, this is just a firepower upgrade, right? Keto is just the guy who has a higher peak. That's kind of how I looked at it, right? But I just did not whatsoever consider that he could be actually a guy who could help out Tapson and be a secondary caller for this team. So that's just an interesting development that they've opted for. They just Keto has been leading the academy team, and apparently he's been learning a lot of what it takes to even in-game lead and just have to have a wider view of the game. And so that has been kind of a big storyline for me. Big storyline, there you go. That I kind of want to pay attention to, but I don't really know how to validate any of that information, because I can't listen to the team and understand what they're talking about. That's just the only thing that I kind of wanted to throw in, because I didn't really pay attention too much to their game specifically.
Okay, all right.
Couldn't that be just because Akita has been playing quite often recently with big again?
I mean, of course, yeah, but that's where they kind of got that idea from, right? That they just realized, okay, this is a guy who can actually help us out with some calling,
Yeah. No, but it's more for your own sake. There is you don't really pay too much attention right now, even though it's just re-added in again. That is just because we had seen him recently, often with the team. I think he played Cologne, right? And he also played that Pinnacle Cup, and then he had to step in on one of the online tournaments they play with because someone still were sick, etc. So it felt the change they did was kind of already done beforehand, and we already seen what Big have done before, and we know they're a good team, but they haven't gone over the line like they did on the online era. Basically, that's at least how I look on Big, like overall, and I think that's why people are not really looking too much in deep with it. Maybe like the German fans or like die-hard Big fans really know like the difference, like maybe not the rest of us do. So I think that's why we're like, we let them be for a time being till we actually see the results coming in, and then we really paid more attention to them.
Yeah. I mean, from when I was looking at the games, like basically they lost two close nukes to Heroic, right? And like Keto was struggling in both of them. I remember seeing the second one, and then looking back at the first one, like Keto also was just not having a great time in that one. So just seems like something that they're struggling with putting him in the right spot. You know, he's coming in literally for the third guy in the last 3 months. You know, he played for Crimbo, then Taven, and now he's coming in for Tizian, you know, which is an entirely different role. He's more on the side and stuff like that. So like he's just been thrown kind of to the wolves in the main team now, and so he's going to take some time to adjust to it, I think.
I thought they were going to win that. I think it was the first time they played Nuke. I'm pretty positive. But when after Sirison won that 1-on-2 situation in the lower bomb site, like where he snuck past them, right? I thought they were going to win that game there. Yeah, but like I think one of the things with Heroic, just obviously their opponent here for a second, is I think we got some really good moments out of Yabi, right? I think he had some really good games. And I also, you get to see now with this team, it's never one star. Like with Heroic, it's never one player. Like Stown will have a good game. Tesla will have a good game. Yabi can have a good game. Shush will have a couple clutches. Cadian had some good moments with the Orb. Like, that's the Heroic we want to see. So look, these are some of our strongest teams within the field here, right? That we've been getting to witness in games against some of the other strongest teams in the field, because FaZe just came in and took care of business pretty much as we would expect, which was good. I think there might have been a question mark. Do they come into this a little bit, no, complacent is probably a good word, like a bit complacent, a little bit ring rust, not ready for the group stage, but they've just come in here and just got it done. So I know that they lost to Heroic in that final game, but at the end of the day, whatever. I don't think it really matters too much. I think it's all good in the hood. All right, let's have a little bit of a look here, boys. Do we have anything else we want to talk about with Group C, or can we jump forward? Because this game that we're going to be going into should be starting.
We got to go TV.
There's an IP available.
HLTV Heat going live in 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, regarding
regarding
FaZe, just quickly. I mean, again, kind of talking to tourists and what you were talking about regarding how like the form that they're feeling in, and whether they're coming into the new season hot, and how much time they've put into the game, because that was kind of like a big question mark in that time that they were struggling towards the end of the first season, right before they won Cologne. And like he was like, we actually feel like we didn't even have a break. Like we all kind of played a lot, and we got together and didn't even feel like we were away from each other for that long. So it seems like they're coming in to the new season kind of as the phase that we should be expecting.
Yeah, that was a curious interview that it was like we were still talking every day on the break and which shows that the mood in that FaZe camp is obviously very high. And you must actually like your teammates. So that's always a positive. It's a positive when you like your teammates, right, Chris?
Yeah, that's the best thing ever, you know. Still miss Fifi, you know.
Fifi's such a lovely guy. I did an audio only podcast a little bit earlier today with Henry and Jason, and we were talking about Fifi a little bit earlier, about one of the first events where Henry was actually working as a commentator, and Fifi was there. Actually, it was Jason who was telling us, just with like a queue of people wanting photos with the guy, and he's there taking photos. He's such a nice guy, Fifi. Yeah. He moved to America.
I miss the guy.
Motherfucker.
His laughter is so good, you know.
We might get him back. He might come back at some point here. You never know.
What needs to happen to get him back?
Henry has to come back and then drag him out of his hole. I don't know.
There you go.
That's what we need to do, you know.
Maybe at a time.
Maybe Cloud9 needs to put more money to Henry and then give it to 50. I don't know. Something like that, you know.
I mean, you're all about the new Swedish Last Dance, you know, now. So you might as well just bring back Fiflyer as well. Like you already played with 3 of that original team, right? So just bring back Fiflyer.
He was in Dignitas. Is he still tied to Dignitas?
No.
He
left
out.
like a month ago or so,
yeah.
Okay, well,
what he's up to at the moment. Maybe we'll have to check in with him. All right, let's jump into the Imperial changes. Just quickly to catch everybody up on this. It was rumored throughout the break that FNX was going to be replaced by Chelo. That ended up happening. But the more unique side of this is the fact that Peacemaker was removed from the coaching role, and FNX has been named as the coach and a content creator. Now, I'm getting mixed signals here, guys. I'm getting a lot of mixed signals here because initially with Imperial, a lot of us thought this team came together to use the hype around the massive names and the brand power they had to put a microscope on this project, and they'll be able to, you know, get a lot of jerseys sold and then be able to have everybody watching the stream, and to be a team who would be a bit more for the exposure as opposed to being, you know, title contenders. But then they went to the major. They impressed everybody. We're like, holy shit, we shouldn't have been sleeping on these guys. And then they've gone and replaced FNX, or the rumor happened, which was like, okay, so they are taking this seriously, right? We all knew that FNX maybe, you know, wasn't contributing the most in that fragging department. Chelo, a pretty good player to take from MLBR to add into that role to get a lot more fragging capacity out of. But then they go and they make FNX the coach. Now, I don't know.
Streamer. That's
yes. But that right there, okay. So do you think that we're getting honey dicked here a little? That it's just like they've just said he's in the coaching role so that, you know, he can be there behind the team as more of like a figurehead, is there something about FNX that we don't know, and he's going to be able to contribute quite heavily in a coaching role? Which one do you think it is, Striker?
He's not going to contribute that much in a coaching role, I would assume.
So that says a lot, right? That says a lot right there. I think like Fallen.
I mean, this is a guy that didn't play the game for like 3 years in a row, you know, before he came into this team. So obviously, like he's not going to be massively up to the meta or just like a wide view of the game and stuff like that. I don't think that's a reasonable thing to expect, right? And especially like the way that they put it in. Like if you actually like officially announce this is going to be a coach and a streamer and a content creator, like obviously this is not he's not going to be focused on any of those jobs if that's going to be the case, you know. So like that's where I'm getting the mixed signals, to be honest.
Someone in chat just wrote quotation mark, why FNX as coach is a bad idea. Here we go, Striker. There's a new article for you.
Is that going to be the headline?
I mean, needs to follow up on the legendary article. Why
it's
the big Brazilian reunion is a bad idea.
It's like a spell that you cast. It's like the opposite day. That's what Striker. That's what you could do for the Brazilian people, especially in the lead up to Rio. Striker, are you going to be that man?
If I'm going to do a follow up on that article, what was that question again?
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Do you think you can help Brazil?
Look, I think I'll just leave the work speak for itself in a few months.
Okay. Are you gonna travel to Brazil then when you release it?
I have actually gonna.
He's already been
in Brazil for
he'll be
2
there.
weeks.
He'll
even better. I'm gonna I'm not gonna post. Here you are, Brazilian people. Here he is.
The location,
address, everything, you know, like
doxing Striker.
This is the room number. This is his last name. You can just go to the reception, ask for a new key.
What? Jesus Christ!
Oh,
why are you giving people ideas, Prof? You madman. Well, let's. A
lot of people don't even know like who I am. Like by
your prof,
right?
Like
my face. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
just like him.
That's even better. Me.
Oh dear! And with the lag, it's perfect. He's already getting lost. It's all happening.
I'll just get a like a HLTV jersey with Prof in my back. So it's just like every time people are like, "Where's Striker?" It's not me.
I mean, otherwise we can just say you're Hiko. You know, don't you remember back in the days? He also got threatened by that. That was two guards with him.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't do that. But it's been long enough that Brazil maybe forgot about that one.
Oh, the Brazilians never forget.
I mean, that's fair actually. Yeah,
they never forget, bro. They never forget. So.
Respect history, right?
Does anyone have any takeaways about this change? Because I don't. There's not much I can say about this. I think Chelo Edition's good.
I mean, it is a good addition, but like we will see them strike up to the form that it did at the RMR or like the collocation. I don't know. Like, I think like it at least looks better on paper at the end of the day, but we will see them not lose like 11 games in a row or what they did. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough losing streak there on there for a while. But this is the thing, right? When you consider this team now, you have Vinny and Chelo, right? I think you can get a lot out of those two. And Fur's been in great form. And I think Bolt's even had a couple of good games. So this, for me, just in isolation, the roster now shows a bit more intent to be competitive for Rio. So I think this overall is a good change. But as Striker said, we might just have to wait and see. And as you're saying as well, Chris, that it's just going to have to see what the body of work says. Okay, let's continue because we're still waiting for this game to go live. It looks like first map is Inferno.
Is it going to talk about the RMR results in general?
Oh, well, yeah, we'll jump into. Let's talk about the locations because Jason wasn't very happy today. That the he wasn't very happy, old Jason, today, was he? So it was announced today where the locations for the RMRs were going to be. We had a bit of a conversation about that last time, I think, where we were just talking about the possibilities here. And so for the European RMRs, they'll be taking place in Malta, which makes a lot of sense because Pro League finishes and the European RMR practically kicks off. Over there for the Asian region, they will be getting played in Australia, I believe it is, at PAX. National events down there in Melbourne, which is actually it's a good spot, and they have the ESL Australian type crew to run that one, so that one makes sense. But this is the one that raised eyebrows and got Jason's Twitter fingers alight. Was the Americas RMR was announced to be taking place in Stockholm, which is very close to you, Chris. I imagine just around the corner.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes for me, but that does like why?
Yeah, visas, right? That's the biggest issue right there. So that's the question, though. You're right. It does seem a little bit quizzical, and you would think with the major taking place in Brazil that it would have been apt to be in Brazil, right, Chris?
I mean, isn't it better to have it in Mexico then?
Yeah. Look, I don't know.
Like if you're gonna be think about the region basically.
Yeah.
Like if there's gonna be visa issues, which is. I mean, that's probably the biggest factor into the play. And I mean, surely it has to be also because ESL has a lot of places here in Stockholm. They had a studio, they can set it up pretty quickly, yada, yada, yada. And already had like, was it 3 events end of the last year here in Stockholm?
Yep.
So, and the visa seems to be better here, but in the same time, it's such a far distance for all the teams. And like, there's going to be other tournaments going at the same time and complication, etc. Like,
to be honest, you also have to think of it from ESL's perspective. Would they want to fly all of these players to Stockholm if they didn't have to? Like they'd probably rather keep them either in Brazil or in NA. And from essentially from what I read on the Twitter feed, this was kind of the TLDR. They wanted to do it in NA. Then they tried to do it in NA. After a bit, they realized visas were going to be an issue. Brazilian teams are not going to be able to get there. And this is a Brazilian major. So we can't really risk any no fucking Brazilian teams or half of them being massacred before even getting to the event. So we need to go somewhere else. And at that point, maybe then Mexico would be a great idea. Maybe Brazil as well, but they don't have anything set up there like they do have in Stockholm, for example, where they have like the DreamHack studios and some of these things, which I guess are going to be used, or either that or the setup that they had for the major and for IEM Winter, which is not going to name the name, but we all know the hotel and the location that was used for that.
Yep.
So that's probably like something that they already know how to run, right? So they want to go with something that's safe versus going with like a completely unknown location. Again, I don't want to justify this because I think just planning to do an event like this in the US is kind of pointless at this point. Yeah. Like just getting visas is too difficult. So probably should have just planned it to be in Mexico from the beginning, and then you have it still be kind of an NA, right? Ping wise, okay, and all of these things, and
time zone wise too for the
time
viewers.
Zone wise, like it just may you don't travel that much. You get all the teams like in the same place, and then I think what Jason's biggest issue is that you get all of the best teams from North America to leave North America once again instead of being there and playing against some of the teams that didn't qualify and trying to raise the scene that way. So I see the issue. But yeah, it is what it is.
Then again, let's say like they changed it to Mexico all of a sudden. Do we know anything about like Mexico overall with their esports industry? Like, do they have like facility that's necessary for a tournament like this?
Yeah,
done in like I don't know. Like that's actually one of the few regions I don't know anything about. So I don't know if they have like kind of set up like they have in here in Stockholm. I've seen it with my eyes like for so many years before even it is what it is today. So I know like they have everything here, so we don't have to worry about that. But would they even have that in Mexico? Because I know there's some teams still living and playing there nowadays. So, but I don't know if they're really.
I know a bunch of them. Yeah, the Brazilian teams went there to boot camp during COVID and stuff like that, and had no issues. So I'm presuming that makes sense.
I mean, it's also that it's also like it's not like you need like infrastructure or anything like that. It's just like you need to get the equipment there. Yeah. And ESL have like studios and stuff in LA, I think, and just a bunch of stuff that they could probably get from there to Mexico if they needed to, and it's a relatively close drive, right? So it's not that big of a deal, I think, in terms of hosting an event there from an ESL perspective. I don't know why they didn't do it. It's difficult. I just don't know.
I imagine it's a mixture of reasons. One at the top of the list probably being budgeting, the other being logistics of what do we have available where, right? There's the laundry list of these things is very, very long. But look, this is the thing. This is back when we had minors. The minors were at least done regionally. Like I competed in Malaysia. I competed in Korea. I was at least competing to qualify for the qualifier in my region, right? So I had those opportunities. But I also think about this. Some of these Brazilian or North American teams who are going to head to Stockholm to then play, if they are part of an organization, or even if they're, quite savvy with how they're going to do things, they could turn it into a net positive by practicing against European teams and maybe staying for a week longer, maybe trying to come a week earlier. So maybe there's positives to be had there, but I understand Jason's gripe with, how we meant to help the region if we're constantly sucking everybody out of there. But at the end of the day, I think the most important part is that the teams, especially the Brazilian teams, are given an opportunity to qualify, and there's no mark on the record where we go, oh, well, this is fucking ruined because they couldn't get through the bureaucracy of North American visas, right? Like, so at the end of the day, as long as the major and everybody can qualify, it should all be okay. But I think Jason's issue just comes from wanting his region to be better, right? I don't think it comes from, necessarily, it kind of maybe just spilled out with this specific issue here.
TLDR, Jason, fix your country. Man,
there you go.
That's it. Just call Biden on the phone and get this shit fixed.
Yeah, he's got him on speed dial. He's got the red phone, he picks it up and away they go. Okay. Is this game live yet? What the fuck is going on, man?
This is the RMR. It takes forever.
It's nine players so far.
Okay, well, let's do this. Can we run an ad break right now, Lucas? We'll come back. We'll talk about the RMR results up until this point, and then we'll blend that into when the game goes live. Be right back.
Let's fucking go.
The Xtrfy M42 RGB, what a fun mouse with 5 colorways, lightweight frame at just 59 grams with a swappable backplate to suit your grip style, the sensor, the easy core, the smooth skates, and driverless control for RGB and DPI is why you should check out the M42 RGB down below.
Buy and sell your skins now. Easy, fast, and safe. The best skin site. Credit card deposits and withdrawals, instant cash out methods. Get the best deals. Quick, simple, reliable. Bitskins.com.
Tired of watching your favorite team lose? Go to N1Bet.com and win with us. Use promo code HLTV and become a winner with your favorite team. N1Bet.com. Your bet, your game.
We're back. Prof is a chair. This is his magical. He's coming back. Fuck. We're gonna lie.
Sure made an appearance.
We could have done something with that. But he has a chair. If you guys don't know, Prof does not squat in front of the monitor for 2 hours straight. He actually sits down. So
now he's just gone.
He's back. We lost him. He's back. Okay, cool. Everyone take a deep breath. We're all good. Now, one thing we do need to discuss is all of these results and the RMRs that have been going on all over the place. Just non-stop Counter-Strike, the Counter-Strike network back on 24 hours a day, all that good stuff. And I think Astralis is where we should start because poor Astralis are having a real rough time in these best of ones online. They've gone through 3 qualifiers now. They're yet to qualify, and they only have 1 chance left. Now, Chris, you played in some of these. How fucking cutthroat is it out here? Is this acceptable that Astralis are losing, or what's going on?
The qualifier is a disaster. It's a disaster for a lot of reasons, because if you're a top team, you're not used to playing against tier 2, tier 3 teams. You don't even know what they're gonna come up with and all of those things. And I think there was, what was his nickname again? The former Astralis player. I saw his tweet that actually made complete sense, and actually is so accurate in a way. Like
Bobski?
Bobski. Tier 2 and Tier 3 is so much better than it was a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And a lot of those players actually could be in Tier 1, like some other players. Like it's so like competitive right now. It's ridiculous. So I'm not surprised that I'm surprised it's Astralis. I thought it would be another team more than Astralis, but in the same time, I'm not surprised. That's the end of the day, like in my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised to actually clinch the last like qualifier without even having any issue at all. Because now they're getting, they played so many of those qualifiers, so they get an attention. They know how like people react and how to play and like the small moves. And they also they're gonna probably be rewatching the games afterwards to have an idea what the fuck they go wrong, basically. So we will see Astralis.
That was a hell of a transition, Lucas.
You know who's mega. Oh, the game is going live, guys. So we're going to be keeping tabs on this as it's happening, and we're going to be talking. So it's not just we're not going to necessarily commentate if something crazy happens. I'm sure we'll be talking about it here. But this is Heat versus ECSTATIC going on for a spot at these RMRs that we're talking about. Now, this Astralis situation, Prof, do you think this is highlighting exactly what Valve wanted to highlight?
I'm pretty sure, yes. I mean, it's not like Valve wanted Astralis to lose and not qualify. Of course, they want them to qualify because they're a big team and they're going to bring eyeballs and all these things and sticker sales. But I'm pretty sure what they want is to like have kind of an open playing field. And for some of these players that play for like a Monty or whatever, who don't have an org behind them that can buy a slot in the biggest leagues, that they have an opportunity to, at least the same as some of these teams like Astralis or Movistar or whatever, that didn't get to top 16 at the last major, start at the same point and go through like the same gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
I am surprised by the number of, let's say, I don't want to call them no-name teams, but teams that literally aren't ranked or ranked like 100 or above, or that didn't play, or that like mixed teams that came together recently. Like most of these players, you kind of know they're not. I don't think there's any team that has like complete no-name players. I was like, who are these five? Maybe who qualified yesterday? Fantasy,
but we know Tuscan.
Captain Jack and these guys. Like
Bro,
I'm like
Topper, Relax, Aiken, and Tuscan, but we know Tuscan.
But that team is pretty interesting, mostly because they basically set the message in Faceit Hub that like, hey, I need players to the RMR qualifier, and then qualify. So
now they're at the RMR. Oh my god!
Yeah, which is quite interesting. I think
that's crazy.
There's a picture on Twitter. I'll actually go and find it. It's actually hilarious. You see, like, I think it's Tuscan asked like, hey, I need a player, and then someone of them replied top or something like, yeah, I can play, and then, all this suddenly they actually qualify for the RMR.
But that's cool. That's
about.
Like, yeah, exactly. That's cool about the free, what the fuck open circuit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That just anybody could do this. Like I just talked to, this was Frederick, who was like a PR manager at Blast or something along those lines. That kind of like a title, and she was like trying to understand the Astralis situation and like where they're in, and she's like, so I can just sign up for one of these qualifiers and I could actually play against Astralis. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. She's like, yeah, it's kind of cool actually.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly like what it's about, right? Like it's no matter where you come from or whatever, you can just qualify for a major if you really want, if you really have what it takes, right?
Well, I think to build on the point that you were referencing from Bubsky before, Chris, is just the general level of Counter-Strike and understanding of people is so great. And now in best of ones, like if you're going to risk a Mirage, it's like back in the day risking like an Inferno or a Dust 2 or a Mirage versus like a team in a best of one. It's like, fuck, like we got to be real good at this map because we know the average player has a high like understanding of this map as well. It's not a technical map necessarily. Like that is the case for all the maps now. Mate,
yeah.
Like you play Faceit every day, Chris. You see the Wild West that's fucking out there. Some of these guys are nuts, bro. Like some of the players out there are wild.
I mean, bro, like I think there was like a Twitter post that someone showed off a one way that I actually figured out from a player on the PUG. Like it's been there for forever. It was actually, I don't remember whose player was exactly, but like I didn't even know about that stupid shit. Like people know deeper like things that wasn't normal for like a couple of years ago. I mean, it's the same like I think when I started playing with you, Sponge, quite a lot. You're like, yeah, I'll do the lurk smoke monster. I'm like, yeah, I've seen it once before. Now I do it like basically every PUG that I play. Like
Yep.
It's so annoying to counter that, especially when you're playing pucks and you've already been, punished. Like, let's say I do it 500 times. I succeeded with it 100 times, and I died 400 times. But I don't know exactly every outcome that could happen in that smoke. And that's what people are doing when they're playing shit tons of CS. Like, it's not just CS, it's other games as well. But that's why you see these random results happening in this open qualifier, because was it an Ancient yesterday that Astralis lost?
Yes.
Like big as well. I mean, Ancient is still a new map, and everyone was saying it's seat-decided when you see a tier 1 CS. But if you look on PUGs and you look on like the tier 2, tier 3, teams are actually smashing on T side more than CT. So I'm not even surprised with that results happening, because people play those maps that people are not like used to. I mean, of course, you're not gonna be playing Mirage. That's just stupid. But or like Dust 2. That's like the two main maps. But if you're not paying attention to a map like Ancient, which is still new to some other teams, of course you're gonna get punished by it. It's just facts.
Yeah, I've referenced this guy on the show before. He didn't like it very much. He sent me a message, but I referenced, like, this was I think it was like earlier in the year, a guy called Lale, who used to just play Ancient, like back when you could queue one map on Faceit, because I really like playing Ancient, so I'd do that as well. And I'd come across them all the time, and it's him and a guy called Hugo, and they would just be fucking gods, man.
Sweets, right? Sweets, right?
Danes.
Danes, okay. No, keep going for. Sorry.
No, and they were just gods at Ancient, and they like knew timings, all this kind of shit, and they had all this util that it's like the pro teams could have been using, because that's exactly it. That's what they like doing. They like playing that map. They like getting stuck into it. Let me just bring up the list for everybody so I can read through all the teams who have currently qualified, and we can talk about these no-name teams that you were talking about, Prof. I think it was Prof, and the amount of them. Let's go through the known ones. FaZe, Spirit, NiP, Cloud9, Mouse, NAVI, ENCE, Big, OG, Force, Fnatic, Outsiders, Heroic, Vitality, Sprout, Bad News Eagles, G2, Falcons, Eternal Fire. Then after that, this is where the like absolute names that you have to go and go, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Like Aurora. Okay, we know Lackey. He was in Entropic, who still haven't qualified, by the way, and Lackey fucking has. Falcons, which added MBK. Oh, no, they were okay. We know them. Where are we here? B8. Who the fuck are B8? I don't know a single name in this team. HKTA, Alex666, Wrinkle, Amster, and Captain Kurt K023.
Is that the Ukrainian team?
Yeah, that is.
I recognize this name.
Yeah,
I do. But it's just because I got stuck when I played with Dignitas in tier 2, tier 3 tournament.
Okay.
So like, and I mean, if you look on the teams, like especially on HLTV, 2 other players been there over a year, 1 for 10 months. I mean, surely the other 2 were added in just 2-3 weeks ago. Just they're really new in that way. But they've been stomping around in tier 2 for quite a long time. And side note is B8, I think it stands for, if anyone watched Dota 2 back in this, is Dendy's organization.
Okay.
NAVI guys. So that is his own team. So hence why the Ukrainian players. But they're good. They're not like that bad as it could sound on your voice when saying who the fuck are they, basically.
Yeah.
So surely, like they don't really have like the massive results wise when you look like through the deeper instead of what HLT can offering. But they've been playing a lot of online tournaments. Okay. Like what was that team that I mean, it's not someone take over. I gotta remember that name. There was a similar story to another team that I remember from last RMR was like ridiculous. Everyone's like, who the fuck are they?
Team?
Yeah,
the team played at the RMR. I was casting their games like Raijin and someone else, but there was a couple of those. Anyway, just quickly joining us for this little bit of a co-stream situation is Mr. Halvor Vendetta. I know this isn't how you say your last name, Halvor, but this is what I remember from watching in like the Mighty Ducks, like Gunnar Stoll. I don't know where the guy in the ice hockey team from Iceland. Yeah, so that's how your last name is going to be from now on. How you doing?
Close, actually. I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
Welcome on the show here. So we're talking about a lot of these teams. Chris obviously educating us here on B8. Look, we've got Sangal, we've got Fantasy, we've got Monty, These are all
Monty is
names.
a pretty there's a name that has like a lot of
Well,
the
we know the
names that people
players.
have heard about.
Yeah.
Like it's it's like that Boros, Waro 2K. Who else is in that mix?
MQQ, Red Star,
there you go.
Joel.
It's
So like
literally
these are all names
everybody's
that everybody
nightmare.
knows. Yeah,
It is an online nightmare to play those. If you get those in your bracket, you're dreading like that matchup 100%.
there you go.
We had K23
I mean,
in
these
here
are all
as
known
well.
names. Yeah,
But we know K23 a bit more. Like that's got Clax, Xe Power, Steam Guard. Like we know some of those guys. He has to be Steam Guard, dude. What do you want me to do with
whatever it is? Yeah.
What do I want to do with X5G7V? He has to be Steam Guard. That's the only name that's going to fit right here for this guy.
Yeah. I mean, the Aurora guys are also kind of like these are names that are kind of have been around. I think they played Lost RMR as well because it's in the array they were called before, and they have Starix as a coach, and like Chiron is in that team. Like these are names, from Spirit Academy. There was like one academy season that he was really good in. So these are not like super random names. A lot of these teams that made it through. You just have to look a little bit past, tier 1 and tier 1 because that's what it is about, right? Like you just have a lot of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 teams playing this.
There's a comment in chat.
Yes?
X7G7V is pronounced Hagav.
Of course it is.
That actually kind of makes sense.
Don't even
explain
try to justify that.
Explain that you have the most experience in that part of the world.
Because he's gone the Boomich route, right? Of using Cyrillic and then just kind of unifying Cyrillic. And
for sure.
X is KH, like sound. So yeah. Okay. And then it all adds up.
As long as
the
it
sevens
passes
are
the
A's.
test.
Yeah.
That's fucking hell.
He's still going to be known as Steam Guard for all eternity. So
Steam Guard is much better though.
I think the key here is right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can I count? 4. Yeah, we have 7 more spots to find.
6. Oh well, 7.
One's right now in front of us.
Yeah, of course.
And then after that, for the next qualifier, there's 6 more. Now, who are the teams that we're missing who should probably be on this list? We don't have Copenhagen Flames. We don't have ECSTATIC yet. We don't have Heat yet. We don't have Astralis yet. We don't have Apex yet. We're running out of spots, boys.
We're missing us as well. Then we're doing the real Swedish last dance,
Doom.
The piss off striker. He can make a new article and like, why is this such a bad idea,
You know what's funny actually about this? Because we were talking about this last time and we were just saying how like we were using it for like an N1 moment for this like the segment thing. And we obviously posted about it on HLTV because we knew like people really want to know about this stuff when like these big reunions happen. And we were just saying how fucking wholesome it is that you guys just like coming together as a mix and just like to have fun, to try to see if you can compete and not, bringing it up as like some massive reunion that's going to win the next major, So that's why it's kind of funny that you put this in the same category,
I mean, I was like so surprised when I saw the news. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I thought it was for the memes. Like I couldn't be, caring too much about it. Surely someone's gonna care about it on Twitter. Then all of a sudden you guys are fucking writing an article on it. And I'm like, bro, are you giving more attention to what
it's like is? Top 5 of the week.
Look, you got
or you didn't have any news to write at all.
No, but you just know that a lot of people, are interested in you guys, and I'm sure it boosted your stream numbers.
That's true.
That it did. So,
I think that's the thing though, right? That's the question that I get asked is like, oh, don't you miss playing? It's like, well, I don't miss like being a professional and like all the hard work and everything, but I miss competing. Yeah. Right. Like I miss the feeling of competing and like succeeding as a team. And I miss that. So like to be able to have that even at this type of a level, like that's fun. Like that's what fun is to me. And like I would love to one day get my shit together and like, even play in a team that's gonna get fucking 16-0'd. Right. I would just like to go and just jump back in the server again in one of these. And I guess my opportunity won't come until fucking next time now, but maybe, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like something that's fun. Like the whole concept just seems like it, and that's what it looked when I was watching you guys. It obviously got stressful in some of the games.
You can still put together a team, right? Like you can just get like. I mean, Harry's not doing anything at this point.
Well,
no,
you may get Harry and Hugo.
Yeah. Get your caster team together and just fucking do a stream of that. Like that should be fun, no?
Get fisted. Just get absolutely mauled.
I mean, but you can play a couple of rounds. Why not?
The first game started at 6 p.m., so they should be out of bed by then. So actually,
there you go.
now I'm thinking.
I mean,
yeah,
you do have
Harry is a
better to do.
beast.
Just go for it.
I mean,
Harry could actually, yeah.
I'm just saying, like the one time we put together a caster stack ever, we got second in the tournament, and I think we earned $44 across all 5.
Let's go.
What was that?
I have no idea what the tournament was, but it was me, Maniac, Harry, Hugo, and
oh shit!
I think Connor might have been like Scrog might have been the last one.
Was he ringing from Canada like he normally plays?
I'm pretty. Yeah, I can't remember if he Europe at that time or not, but this is a long while ago, and we ended up playing.
That's a solid stack,
teammates.
man. That's a solid stack, honestly.
Yeah, we lost to Cywo's ex teammates in the final.
Again,
that's
all
okay.
authority. Yeah.
We'll let you off the hook there. We'll let you. Okay.
But
all right. Well,
we're still playing though. Was Cyber playing that team?
Oh god, no.
Oh yeah. So okay, you weren't really getting.
It was literally just
ass, okay.
His friends.
It was just this much.
A couple of his mates from school. Okay. Let's just. What are we at? 4-2. The score in this one here. Who's favored in this, boys? Ecstatic or Heat? Because I know that.
Heat.
I mean, well,
Heat,
yeah, but you'd assume so.
Yeah.
But we assume like this is the thing. I don't know. Jax has only been in this team now for what? 2 weeks?
That's about the same time.
But the exciting
players have
3 new guys. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
also an new team now.
Odds are actually up on the betting sites, and Heat current. This is live odds, but still, it's the best of 3. Heat is like pretty favored, 1.40, 1.5, 1.4 overall.
Dust 2 is pretty nutty, honestly. So I think they have a bit of a freebie there because they're somehow consistent on the map. It's like them, Big, and like Sprout for some reason, who used to be consistent on Dust 2. I just think they have a pretty good shot at that, even though I usually hate teams that pick Dust 2 as a draw.
You see what I just clicked on Jax's profile now just to see. His team name at the moment is JKZ.
Cheeky.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
The teacher school taught him well.
Yeah, I just because I was looking at all the anime profile pictures here, of course, right? That's where you can really see who the connoisseurs of the anime world are here. Queenix has gone, and I think Max, is that Gara? Maybe. That I'm not enough
You're
of a
talking
weeb
to complete that much.
Aren't they old Goku? The one guy I know.
Christ. Yeah, I know that's what we watched when we were kids, Halvor, but yeah, it's evolved a little bit here, mate.
You know that fucking Striker and Bercho, the photographer, do not know about like Sailor Moon. Like they have no knowledge of this
Claims
cartoon.
to have no.
Really?
No, like I was explaining the meme. Like my job here is done with like the masked guy, tuxedo man. They were like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, it's a Sailor Moon thing. He's like, "What are you talking about?" So I showed them the picture, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I just left. I just walked away. I was so confused.
Someone tweeted at us on the social medias. It's one of Nell's tweets. Now, this is from 19 hours ago, but this is we were just going. Yeah. So here it is. 1 qualifier and 6 spots for the RMR left for Astralis, Movistar, Heat, Entropic, LDLC, Copenhagen Flames, Apex, Endpoint, Gamer Legion, Titans, 1 Win, Avantgarde, Sinners, Finest, Eyeballs, Thor, Skade, Havu, and then it is a bunch of Polish teams. Yeah, but a bunch of Polish teams look kind of good.
So. Gentium, yeah.
Fucking crazy. Like we got 6 spots for all those for not all of those teams, but for them to fight it out. I love that this is a bloodbath, and I hate it. I imagine it's pretty stressful for some people out there, but we get to watch the carnage from the sidelines, so not so stressful for us.
I mean, I'm happy I'm not playing it, at least professionally anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm playing this fucking chaotic qualifiers.
Do it anymore.
I mean, now it's more for fun. It's more for fun nowadays. Now it's fun. Now I can get exactly like Shad was saying before. I prefer have fun and then getting fucked by young talents. But before, I remember one of those when we lost the qualifiers like back in the days with NiP, and we lost against Yasin, the YCN, who like moved over to Valorant for a while. The Swedish team. And we got wrecked like 16-6 or something from Cobblestone in a best of 1 map, Like, it's not fun. Like, they're playing those big important qualifiers, and this was like qualification for RMR. And to be honest, I still don't understand how the fuck they would qualify for that 2018 in the beginning, like the RMR system. Like, in my head, it doesn't make any sense because the qualifiers is a bloodbath. Like, you just gotta be lucky somehow. I mean,
some of those like back then were also like plagued by like cheating. Like, there was always like 1 or 2 teams that legit like obviously cheating, destroy like 5 good teams or 3 good teams on their run to like the semi-final, and then they're like, oh, these guys are cheating, so let's replay the last game. And the 3 teams that lost before, fuck you guys. And that happens all the time. I remember like some of the E-League qualifiers, like for the E-League majors, were pretty rough in that. And then also some players that weren't cheating that turned out like to be like legit players. They're like, oh, these people are cheating. That's classic. There's a bit of both always.
I mean, it's always gonna be someone accusing anyone of cheating, you know? Isn't that the same thing with like back in like Flashpoint or what it was when, you know, the Brazilians got like wrecked by Leaf, the player that played like that was just a fun time. I felt so fucking bad for the guy.
Yeah, it always happen, right? Like, and you like a new guy comes in that you know nothing about, but obviously, you know, some of these fucking prodigies, like imagine Zywoo, right? Like, just fucking enters his first year in tier 1 and he's the best player in the world. And, you know, like, if you can get that kind of a guy in the scene, then like, of course you're going to run into people who are just not going to be known whatsoever, and then you just come into the scene and just start destroying people, you know? So that's always going to happen naturally.
It's not like they have to have like 15 good games in a row, you know? It's one best of 3 that is deciding that people are going to latch onto and ignore everything else.
Or best of 1 back in the days. It's always best of 1s, you know? Like, one man, 40 bomb, you're like, oh, okay. What am I doing, you know? Like, why am I even on the server? Like, it is side thing when you mentioned Cyber there, like when he entered the scene, he was like wrecking everyone in like Face It, like Pro League, like FPL. And I could say from my standpoint, when I was still playing those things, Oskar, before he like really went into mouse sports regulars, he was on literally the same level as Cyber were when he came into the scene, like on the FPL level. Like, if you play with Oskar, you had like automatic win. It was the same with Cyber. It was like ridiculous. They just like came up with the stupidest reason, felt like, and just clutched it out in like 1v4 without even like sweating. And they're like, yeah, it was easy. And they're like, you're playing against Simple, you're playing against Forest, all those good players, you know, like they're like the top tier of the fucking level this year, you know, and they're like, I don't care. I have a Deagle, I'll win it for you. Like, okay.
Yeah,
Chris, do you remember? Okay, so this is going like way back when we still used IRC and stuff like that.
Jesus.
But yeah, like you
showing
remember
our age here.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
We're old, okay? Don't forget that.
But you remember the Best of Europe channel that we started playing like during the beta of CSGO and like all those gathers, etc. And I remember like Oskar was playing there, but he was like when he was still in Defeaters or something like that. And the weird part about like Oscar's like rocket, I guess, you know, atmospheric rise to just being an absolute boss was so weird, because when we were playing back then,
he was so.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no,
like he was worse than me at that point. and then he takes like a break from CSGO for like 2 years, something.
Yeah. Oh, you're lagging the fuck out, by the way. You're
Come
super
on,
laggy.
Alvo. You're Norwegian, mate. Shouldn't you have good internet?
I don't know. It felt almost like it's your mic rather than the internet. I'm not sure.
It's sorted now.
No,
I
it
think
sounds
you're
fine
now.
now. It sounds much better.
Crispy now.
Oh yeah, no, it's the cord for my microphone. That's
what it was.
Yeah,
You're fine.
but yeah, no, Oskar just came back from like an extended break and was just an absolute beast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some players just does have that. I don't know why.
Yeah,
like it must be similar to like sports world as well. What is that guy like everyone knows from American football again? Like he took like a break and like he came back and then he won like the, I don't know what they call it, like the biggest shit in
like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl, and like don't give a fuck anyway because he's so good anyway. And what is his name that everyone's like always talking about? Bradley or something like that.
I was thinking Bradley Cooper, but that's not it.
No, Bradley.
Exactly.
I think it's
Brett Favre.
I don't know anything about sports.
Tom Brady. Tom
Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Like didn't he like? I don't know. Like I don't follow that sports. I don't know. But it's like the same with him. Like he basically was like, yeah, I retire now. I don't give a fuck. Comebacks anyway. Like and then like just keep going forward and still like performs amazingly.
Right. Like, I mean, Michael Jordan did that, right?
That is
true.
the baseball. I want to ask you guys this because we were just talking about like players who feel like they come from nowhere. Is there anybody like at the moment who you guys like have an eye on, or anybody you come across in the pugs every day, Chris? You're like, who the fuck is this? And they're just like gods.
Oh, but there's actually one player that I play against pretty often, like at least once a day. It feels like.
Okay.
What is his nickname? I gotta find it, and I know I play with him against. No, with him today actually, and I actually think he's pretty good. Like. I think he streams also all the time.
Okay.
But I don't know if he plays with a team. Some of his viewers says he's like in a team, like a pro player, but I haven't seen his name before. Let's see. We lost the game. I know that we lost the game. Nuke, there it is.
I'm invested.
Is it Nixon?
No. His nickname is Anastasia. Or something like that.
Oh, Anastasia. He's Russian or Ukrainian, right?
Yeah, something like that. And Russian,
of course he is.
But he plays like shit tons, and I think he's actually good. Like,
yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, I play him at least once or twice a day when I'm like playing. I play like around like 9 to 11 pugs per day, so he has a pretty high like chance to play at least with or against me. But I think he's pretty good. At least it's something that has been standing out, from my eyes. Usually like
HLTV as well. Like I mean, I found a nickname. I don't know. I just tried it to speak.
It could be. He's
Russian guy.
He streams.
I mean,
right
this is
now,
way too old.
so.
It doesn't seem like
22.
Not
Plays
old,
for
but
Haunted
like, been playing
Family
for a long time.
I don't know. Like I said, like I don't know too much about him. I just know that I played quite often against him. So like at least from my standpoint, because I'm playing still actively on like face it normal pinks, so I can at least see someone that. Maybe people don't see that often, and they of course have to have high elo. But that's a name. But I probably miss a lot of people because I don't unmute the people that's auto muted.
Yeah, I feel you, man. If you're playing 11 pugs a day, Chris, you have to have them muted. Otherwise, I don't know. That would be impossible.
I think there's like a couple of names of the people who've played in like this RMR already. There's one guy from Kazakhstan who's named Icy, which is really annoying considering there's a guy named Ice in Avangard already. But he's like a 17-year-old Kazakhstani kid who's really, really sick with the op. And then you had Wrinkle, who played for the Bait team. Obviously, that did have a bit of an upset. He's been like, I guess, one of the next ones. It seems like Ukraine just has a bunch of young up-and-coming talent now. And I think,
is he an AWPer, Halvor?
Yeah, Rickle is an upper.
Of course he is.
But one guy
It's so simple. Like, I'm gonna be simple. I'm gonna be simple. We can all be simple.
But one guy I think is so this is a little bit of a far shout, but Azubu, who's
streaming service.
Exactly. Now defunct streaming service.
Yeah, Hitbox is also great.
Yeah,
still
but
money.
Azubu plays for One Pin, so he's a UK guy. So I think he's like 17 or 18 years old. And I don't, if I remember correctly, he's not an offer. So he's a rifler from the UK who's actually like legit good at the game.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
We want more
from the UK.
Where's the IDLs? Where's like the thing that people are starting running on the internet, like Bird from Sky kind of standard, like they're accusing him of like radar sheet or something.
Oh, yeah. He gets a lot of flack thrown his way, doesn't he? But
you don't notice that in like normal pugs, right? Like unless you know the guy or just like have a little bit more knowledge about like what he's like, or just like hear him call and stuff. Like these guys are just who you only start learning more about like once they get through some teams and people start talking about them from like inside the team.
I mean,
Gailers are easy to find.
I mean, let's fucking do like this. Since the last RMR is on Friday, I don't know, like, if my Swedish friends want to play with me, let's fucking bring up, like, if they know they have, like, fucking high elo and face it, I'll fucking play with them and stream it. Like, I don't give a fuck then. Show me how good you are. And
make
maybe,
a stack.
Yeah, like, let's bring it in. And vENdetta, if you have someone that's like, yeah, well, I can carry this old motherfucker, like, bring him to me. Because at the end of the day, it's like, for me, it's fun. I'm not competitive anymore, and if they want to show their name off and they can get a free exposure from my stream or whatever, I can do it. Like,
Chris is about to do an episode. Chris is about to do an episode of like American Idol. Are you going to be like Simon Cowell, or are you going to be a little bit nicer, you think, Chris?
I don't know. You play with me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're nice.
I'm pretty quiet and calm, and I'm not blaming or saying too much.
Okay.
When I was playing professionally, I would be like furious. But now, like, I don't know how people think anymore. So I'm like letting them be in their own environment, you know? And then afterwards, like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I have no idea what this smoke is, flash, but he's making the kills. I'm happy, you know? They're carrying me, so.
The 5 headshot strat.
Okay.
Ooh.
That was a hell of a lineup.
This is the thing. This Heat team's a curious one, right? Because obviously Lucky's the poor bastard who got removed for Jax to come in.
Yeah.
But this team had a lot of excitement around them when they were double pony, and it feels like less excitement around them now that they're Heat. They've really plateaued this team.
Now nobody cares because they already have an organization. Everybody was like, "Oh, these guys are too good not to have an org," you know. And now they're just the same place, you know.
I think they do fall for like the curse of being a tier 2 team that are on the cusp of making it to tournaments quite often through like closed or open qualifiers, that kind of stuff. Because like relevancy within CS is about 2 seconds long. So it's super hype when you're like 1 game away from making it to the RMR. But if you don't make it, then there's like a lull
like
of, let's say, 4 to 5 months where you don't get an opportunity because, you know, Blast needs to have at least 3 months to get through all the qualifiers for the showdown, where you get to play a best of 1 versus NAVI because they messed up the group stage or something, right? And then you're done.
It's a best of 3. It's a best of 3.
Okay, it is best of 3.
But then if you beat NAVI, you have like Astralis and then an NiP next. So
yeah, or G2 or something. Yeah, so it's like you get a very limited window of exposure for these teams. And like Chris was saying earlier, like the level of tier 2, tier 3 teams and players in general at that level is so insanely high that it's like Heat will lose to other, you know, I guess equally skilled teams or teams around this level. So people automatically assume that whatever they did that was good versus high-rated opponents or in an RMR, that's just going to end up being like, oh, it's a fluke. But it's just no, like the other teams around them that they play on a regular basis, they are really good.
I have a curious question for you, Halvor. So with what we're referencing here about the tier 2, tier 3s being quite strong these days, and potentially, Chris, I think you said that some of these guys could play in tier 1, I think. With that in mind, does it seem less likely? Because now with the established orgs...
Is this
I don't know what this round is.
What
I'm
is
not
going
sure.
Go to the bomb side.
I don't know what's happening.
The bomb. Thank you.
Why did he stay there?
I don't think you're allowed to plant an overpass before at least 1 minute and 20 seconds has passed.
This is like
that's fair.
Like 10 years ago when I started playing CS with my friends. Like no op, no bomb planting, no shooting from behind.
Kill.
Just like go, If you know the guy is there, you need to drive him. That's it.
Body's about to go.
Also kind of.
He's about to go for this round. Oh, okay, thank God he's saving. I was going to say, if he's got, you know, they don't have a lot of money going to the next round, really, do they? Where was I with this question? Oh, do you think at this point now, because the tier 1 scene is guarded unless you have like a meteoric gambit run and they get sold to Cloud9, for example, but it's pretty much guarded now because of all these partner teams. Does it seem that the case is going to be with the ECSTATICs, with the Heats, these guys are just going to be farm names for their daddies, like the representatives from their, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's very likely, honestly, which is kind of a shame. But I think it's also obviously it's a structure that you can build off of. Again, it's like the club or the team organization, whatever you want to call it, has that in mind. Obviously, going into it, that they could just be like a farm talent, similar to what Trix has been in Denmark or Singularity, etc., etc. Yeah, now, right? Like then that could still work. That could still be like your position within the scene. Like you're the stepping stone team that every talent wants to become a part of before they get the chance at tier 1, and so on. But I do think it's a bit of a shame. Like I hate invite systems. I hate partnership agreements. I hate everything about it because there's so many deserving teams that deserve a spotlight. But they'll only get like 2 or 3 chances a year, and even though they are really good, they're not necessarily always going to be at their best. You know, those 1 or 2 or 3 times.
But the Bad News Eagles, right? Bad News Eagles is almost the peak of what you could probably achieve these days without any support. Gambit obviously was an org, but they still kind of the same thing, made their way through. It's going to be interesting to see how the landscape continues to develop, right? Because the way it is now, it doesn't necessarily mean this is the way it's always going to be. Like, let's say some big swinging dick with a lot of money comes in and makes their own Counter-Strike league and just puts up like so much more money. It could flatten the already established names we have if somebody was to come in and invest and make all those right decisions. Now, obviously, I'm living in a bit of a fantasy land, but it seems like it could be You know, I think the game is going to continue to develop and change over these. I don't think we're set on a course just yet. What I want to do, guys, is if we were to do all 3 maps, Prof, we're probably going to be at fucking midnight. So I think we'll just do map number 1 because it's already almost 8:30. So let's do this. After this round now, we will do the quiz. We don't need to...
Why don't we just do it after the map? We can do the first map, do the quiz after.
Okay. Usually it's like a break for 10
fine.
minutes or something anyway.
Yeah.
People will go out for smoke or whatever, and it's going to be extended. And, you know, it took like 20 minutes.
We can do at least like the first map in like in full.
Let's do the first map. We'll do the quiz, and then we can send them. We can host somebody who's streaming it already, right? I think I saw a couple of names like Vince is streaming it, for example. Sorry, Lucas. Oh, they're streaming it. Well, we have more viewers than them.
Yes, we are the most viewed game on this match.
Let's host. We should host KRL. We like we like Seb.
Oh, Seb, yeah.
We like Seb. We should
I
host
thought
Seb.
you were in like an ESL show. Why not ESL?
No, people think that I'm an ESO shill, even though I give out my fair handed of critiques to everybody when it's warranted. But it's easier just to pigeonhole me and pretend that I don't actually have any reasonable contributions.
Isn't there also a heads-up issue though with Seb is that he speaks French?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of English viewers.
Okay, maybe we do Vince then.
I love the guy. I want him to get hosted, but
Jackie is streaming. We can host Jackie. And Vince? No, Vince is offline. So Jackie is the best option.
Yeah, we'll do Jackie. Jackie's a good shout. Okay, so we'll finish this map. We'll do the quiz. And then if people in chat, you guys have any questions, we can obviously keep talking about them. We still have a whole half of Counter-Strike to go here. I'm kind of just thinking like I want to message Harry and Hugo and see if they want to play in this open qualifier.
There you go.
Like I'm jumping at the bit.
The
great thing is I'm going to be banning Dust to Mirage and Overpass. So the map pool already start.
Vertigo Ancient.
Yeah, playing Vertigo and Ancient only will.
You're just going to play Inferno all the time. You're just going to play Inferno.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do you like Inferno?
Do you
like Inferno?
I'll play Inferno over the other maps that I was happily going to ban.
Bring
you should just play Mirage. That's your best map. That is the map you're known for.
Who did you say, Chris?
Bring Nia with you.
Yeah, get him on the phone. He's normally he doesn't wake up. He's normally asleep by then, right? At 6 o'clock in the evening.
No. He's the qualifier, bro. Think about it.
Yeah. Look, I think
you can send him up top banana. Flush me half wall. You know, like it's gonna be fine. You know.
You're right. Actually, we could maybe replicate slide there. Oh dear. We got
this map, by the way. This map.
Your mic is fucked.
Can you not afford a better cable? What is this? What is going on here?
Wait. Try again, Halvor. Try again.
I want to say this map so far, pretty comfortable for Xstatic, and then he kind of came back somehow magically in the end, especially the last round, which is like a super half buy. So there is still a chance. There's a chance, but it looks like nine T rounds on Overpass is still very comfortable. vENdetta, please correct me. You're the most knowledgeable person in this chat right now.
I will say, yeah, that should be perfectly fine for Xstatic if my mic is working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Beautiful. You're back. Beautiful. Also,
no, you are
beautiful. In removing Overpass for Tuscan or Anubis or any map in the world.
Look, I would gladly.
It's the most boring map in the world.
I'll get rid of it with you.
Do you want to still watch 2 years more of Dust 2?
I don't even mind Dust 2 because that's had a bit of a change.
Okay, I'm leaving now. It's like.
Yeah, you want to know what I did? Like in the last part of the stint with Dignitas, I went through the best 20 teams on Overpass in the world. And I watched about like 7 to 8 games out of each and every team. And the lowest I could find, this was Vitality, and they were the outlier. They would only end up at the B-bomb site around 58% of the time, like plus minus. They would end up 46% of the time towards A, which I found fascinating because everybody else was 70+% towards B and rounds there. Skade, for instance, now in the last, I think, 3 or 4 months now, as of current standing, have ended 96% of their rounds on B.
How is that possible?
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, so Vitality has figured something out. They know how to default A that nobody else does, right? So what's the key here? So I looked through exactly. I literally watch Vitality demos, and every time they go A, it's like a double frat. Like it's a double kill from Zywu out of nowhere, and Apex just runs up A. and that's their A take.
Okay. Well,
Can
then
you try to replicate that with your team now?
hey, we want you to play like Zywoo.
Yeah, just get Zywoo, then you can play Overfast.
Yeah, that's quite simple, isn't it? Okay, well, that's interesting because I know everybody has gripes and grievances with different maps, and like everybody can frame an argument for why they think a certain map should be removed, but actually having statistics like that can kind of help because it is a very slow map, right? There's evolutions with how Connector's been played, but that's now been the case for the last year.
Come back, boys.
Right? Look at this.
You just have to be super careful on the op on A. Like there's too many angles, too much you have to clear, too much you have to flash, like smoke off, you know, toilets and whatever the right side you want to call it, to even get to that area, and then you still have a fucking half of the toilets to go through and just like be careful of. So I can understand why.
It's like you expend 50% of your utility to kind of get map control that doesn't really do anything. But not really.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Overpass is like the only map where like the A lurker on the side. That's like the only map where you could actually call it a CT-sided player lurker, because like there's always somebody in toilets just like not really being watched at all times, and so that person just has like free reign, and if he's not going to get checked, you know, he's just going to flank you at the right time all the time. You know, it's just like it's a really difficult map to control the entire ace, like at the A side of the map. So I can understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked what Maui tweeted the other day, where he was saying about potentially like 2 maps going out. Obviously, it's just wild speculation, and we don't know. But 2 maps coming out could be, or 2 maps going out and 2 maps coming in could be interesting. Like I noticed. So I've been playing a bit of matchmaking on Tuscan, right, just to kind of get a feel for the map and see what's different from the source on 1.6 days of when I played it. But the basic concepts of the map are the same, and I realized most new players playing that don't actually know those basic concepts, right? Like I think a lot of people would sit and go, oh, okay, you play 2 players B, you play 1 guy mid, and you play two guys over towards A, right? But like you used to be able to do a whole bunch of different stuff on that map. Like aggressive mid control was huge, right? Like you didn't have to completely fight in mid to death, but you'd posture early. It would slow down the T's defaults. If the
How open is Tuscan like skybox wise? Can you do?
It's more
like
open than people think, though.
Yeah,
not from like it's not vertically, I guess horizontally or like across the map. It's not as open. So if you stand on like B or like short and then want to smoke over towards A or mid or cat, whatever, like that's not as possible.
Yeah. I think that there's certain things. So for example, I play with some nerds. Like there's a guy that I play with who's like a cinematic observer for ESL, right? He's actually a freelancer, but he does a lot of work for ESL. And he came up with a bunch of geeky smokes that we use when we play Tuscan. Like for example, here's a smoke from Spawn on the T side that smokes off, we would call it short back in the day for maybe people call it like zigzag or something over towards B, like B short, we would call it. It lands at the base of B short, so you can just run straight up B long. And if people know the map, back in the day, it would be pretty common people would jump out the B window and drop it, like throw a nade down and play aggressive there, which would mean they're quite disconnected from rotating back and helping their B anchor. And if you rush B long, you can get a one-on-one fight there and maybe get that site control and shit. So there's different like details, and keep it to utility, and having a lurk door is actually really important if you want to go for like a late A split to take pressure off the guys coming up kitty. I had to explain to like Dinko, Hugo, and Harry why we called it kitty, for example. There's a whole bunch of but this is it, right? Like I feel that this is a new map that's an old map that we could really sit here and explain to people the way we used to play it, like retake A setups with the AWP over towards, I forget the name of it, but like there's a whole bunch of different ways that people would approach it that they're probably not too familiar with until they see professionals play it. I think that's an important detail, is maybe getting that information out there quicker. This is me assuming it's going to enter the map pool. I think it could be fun, but I know a lot of people don't think that, right? Have you guys played much Tuscan? Has anybody here jumped in and run around?
Couple of games. But the thing is, I think the biggest issue with the map is like it needs a couple of changes before it's actually ready to play.
Are you talking like huge changes, or what are we talking about?
Probably too many angles, right, Chris?
No, not the angles. It's more like, you know, it feels like cities can be anywhere on the map. It feels like way more aggressive as it was before. I mean, sure, it was similar to in 1.6 as well, but in 1.6, since we played it a lot, we already knew like how to counter it really quickly. Like, for example, in 1.6, you know, you could spam for everything. So we had like rounds where we were rushing, exactly like you were saying. We actually had one in the B room spamming with Autosniper to kill a guy dropping down window. Yeah,
big
and we
fuck
also,
up round from Heat right there.
And that one, it was actually. Since they had 2 entries, I don't know what's happening there. But in the same time, we also had like a similar round, like 1.6 style, when you had like on Inferno, you were spamming apps and then you ran like down boiler and rushing apps. Like there was like one around 1.6. We had similar on that one in Tuscan when you ran cat on that one. Like, and we had one like spamming the wall, or we had 2 guys running underpass at the same time, the cat, to like throw flashes where it fast up, you know. So I think in the beginning, if the map actually gonna be put in like competitive play, we're gonna see those things because they can only take it from professional games from before. I don't know how different it was in Source though.
Very similar.
Was very similar. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have the wall bangs, but like the way that we'd play it with your different splits and stuff was pretty much the same. Like the CT, the only thing was when it was played in CGS, obviously we didn't have pistol rounds, right? Because we had 16K, so you had a lot of AWPs. Like you had some like 2 to 3 AWPs. It was fucking dog shit when that was happening. But
I know that I learned all the spots to spam the A bomb site. So I was like the middle guy. I think it was Fnatic. I played it last. I don't think we played it in SK, for example, later on.
It wouldn't have been in the map pool then, I don't think, would it?
I mean, Fnatic was before, so that was.
It was there till the end, right?
2010. Yeah. It was to the end, but we actually had it as a perma ban because we never practiced. Yeah. We never practiced it, but we actually could play it if we wanted to. We were that comfortable on it, but we barely just played it. But I learned all the spams on like hacks in the A bomb site. Just be the rotator guy to kill the planter instead. To actually retake the bomb site because you couldn't retake the bomb site if you didn't kill like the planter. At least in 1.6, in my opinion.
It's going to be quite similar, I would imagine, in CSGO, right? Obviously, mollies on retake is going to be hugely important. But Chris, like that's something that, right? Like for you, I don't want to tell you how to do your job as a content creator, but I'm telling, if you were to do sit down on Tuscan with Forest and talk through the shit you guys used to do in 1.6, I would find that fascinating. Yeah. Like I truly would find that fascinating because these are concepts from 10 years ago that could still be used today on a map that may enter the competitive map pool. And like that, right? That to me is that's gold. Like I would love to sit there and listen to you guys talking about, oh, we used to run this strat, we used to have this setup. Like I was doing that today with Henry in the gym. We were talking about when we were playing it in Source. Yeah. Back in those days. I think that's fascinating stuff to hear about. I love that theory side of the game.
I already had it actually in plan to do that on one of my YouTube videos that coming up, but I already prepared 3 videos in a row, so it has to be still in a month's time though. Okay. If I'm not forcing it in, you don't know. Like someone's probably gonna take that idea from here, and that's like fine with it.
Yeah, but you are get right, one of the greatest Counter-Strike players of all time. Just so you're aware, like that little moniker you have. Not many people can do that.
Yeah, but in the same time, it's harder if you want to release content on YouTube. You have to be like really quick on it. That's the thing. Otherwise, you will get like, no offense to one of those guys, but Anomaly or Furious or those big guys from YouTube that releases it, and they some people will believe that's the game we're supposed to be played on. Not that I know that they were gonna release some like similar content to that, but that's just my like thought process with it.
Sure.
Like I would love to see someone do it already, but at least try to explain how it was played before. I mean, I would have loved to see Prep do it, for example.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could even just watch an old
demo,
old demo, or just an old stream of a match, between top teams, and just explain those concepts and just show them how that was played. You don't even need to have any people with you to go through it. So it's just close. 14 HP as well.
What a position to play.
I'll give that advice directly then to someone who wants to do it. Watch Mouse Sports back in the days. They were always ahead of everyone on Tuscan, in my opinion. Then NAVI took it over. They took all like the good pieces from Mouse Sports, in my opinion. That all like the nice flashes, like pop flashes in 1.6, etc. Like how to do pushes timely and work out fine. Because they were mixer, at least back in the days of Danish CSs nowadays, like a lot of team play with the MTW guys back in the days. They had like good players, but they always used team play as like the big strength, like similar as Astralis did when they took over the CSGO industry or like the scene. Mouse Sports were like that in 1.6, at least in Europe. Like they did everything with good players, but just used the God Beast mentality. So that's like a great idea for those people who's gonna prepare for Tuscan for later on.
Yeah, it's interesting because I like with that map. So the etymology of all this, right, is CPL mill. which you have to be really old to know that. But then the Tuscan version actually dealt with a couple of the issues that existed on Mill.
Like the underground.
The underground was way
Boosting
too
through
long.
the ground.
Yeah, that was fun. Like boys, if people haven't watched it, go watch.
That's
Pub
actually
Masters.
hilarious.
It's so funny on
Pub
Pub. It's so good. But like when you were underground, it was like a whole different fucking world. And I remember we didn't play it a lot. Like I was, very, very young. We didn't have those maps in circulation in Australia back when I was competing. So it was just like fun in pugs. And in the underground, you get fucking lost. Like you're like, where the fuck are we going? Like it felt so vast. Now it actually seems like it has a bit more of a purpose. And the B bomb site as well. Like you had to make it through that courtyard and up a ladder to make it. It's like, how the fuck are we meant to do this? Like it was. So the new version, or Tuscan, I guess, kind of eliminated some of those issues. What about Anubis? Has anyone been playing any Anubis?
Yeah.
This is pretty niche.
I played it once, and that was like 2 days ago.
Okay. What'd you think, Halvor?
A little bit unsure how, like, the B site seems like it has about 15 entrances to it.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird. I kind of think the A site has a cool idea to it, but I'm not sure about the circular kind of a middle of bomb site ordeal to it. But that could still work, I guess. But yeah, no, it's refreshing. Like, it's fun to play new maps.
It doesn't look like a Counter-Strike map, does it, Chris? Looks weird.
No,
Looks like
but
a pub map.
I love the map actually.
Okay.
It's actually one of the few maps I actually like from that got released later on. Because I still have, like, in some cases, that mentality of being a madman and, like, where they're adding new things to the game.
Sure.
But in the same time, I've always been, like, enjoying the new things to the game. So, I mean, I'm even one of those maniacs that I actually think that we should remove all maps and add new ones. Like, I'm one of those.
All 7.
Yeah. Like, why the fuck not? Like, but it's just because...
Chris, think about how many smokes you'll have to learn and memorize all over again.
Let's do it.
But Vendetta, I'm not playing anymore. I don't really care about it anymore. I don't care about it. I want everyone to suffer like I did for years, because no one didn't watch demos like I did back in the days. I did that. I had to rewatch the demos like 400 times to actually find that small detail that fucking potted it in the clutch on the CPL 2002. I had to do those shit. Now people have to do it, but in the real grind, show up. Who's the real grind?
Everyone suffer.
He would probably have it all up in a fucking day. That guy doesn't sleep. I swear to God. The amount of
as much as that'd be a cool idea, I think the issue is like keeping up with what you need to update. Like if you have 7 maps coming in, like it would just be so much information for whoever's supposed to update the maps and like to actually make them playable, because a lot of these maps, like when they come in, there's like several like obvious issues that need to be addressed, but like if you have so many coming in, it would make the game so fucking random at some points, I guess.
But should we at least remove 2 then?
I mean, I'm down to 2, yeah, because
I think 2 is
kind of
like a good number, right?
2 is fine, yeah.
It's better than 1 in the sense that like you can't just get away with permabanning the new map for a while and just not learning it. So you're always gonna have to pick up 1.
I'd like
unless
2,
you play
like 1 per
year,
year, right? Like,
yes, not 1 at the start and then 1 in the second half. I'm with you. I would like 2 for the whole year.
Yeah,
and then you get a whole year to refine. I think,
because then we will see changes of the map and fix it. Let me remember the map we're watching right now, Overpass. That was like fucking dog shit in the beginning.
Awful.
Remember the A bomb site when you can walk into that small room on the bomb site?
Yeah,
like
Jesus,
where the A sign was, or like when they fixed that. No, they did like it was like 1 entrance to the bomb site.
You didn't have long. Like it didn't have long.
Long connected into short at the end.
Exactly. And then you have to I fucking lost a major final on it. I know how difficult it was, But we fucking throw that one PS. But yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like it's similar with Cobble. Remember Cobble when they had that drop zone? It was like 3 angles you can hold drop zone.
Cobble when you have B side the back like
so
fucking
big
field. It was a field back there.
It's like a shuttle ride to get to the back of the bomb site.
I actually remember when we played that major we won, when we played Cobblestone and everyone. I think that Freiburg and Fifth Line. I don't know. Fifth Line wasn't. They said to each other like, why don't we sit here? Like no one is gonna look at us, but we see their legs running out, and we're like, I mean, you're not helping anyone. Yeah, you and Forrest hold drop, and Fifth Line hold say, have fun. And we're like, okay, and then we won, so it's fine. But like no one didn't pay attention to that. Like think about it. It's like a backside to the site basically. Everyone can sit and hide. And think about buying the Autosniper. Lovely time.
Yeah, at the time, that was a big. I'm kind of surprised the Autosniper is not even anywhere close to being a meta, because I feel like it could still have some usage.
Don't you remember when Chris actually broke train because of the Autosniper?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the game, the weapon actually didn't change, right? Like it hasn't really got.
Yeah, no, they just changed maps because of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, people are obviously better with utility, but I mean, it's. If you think about it, it's probably easier to get around utility and all that stuff with an Autosniper than it is with an op.
Yeah.
You know, just work around it. So I feel like I'm kind of curious why nobody's been trying a little bit more with the Autosniper.
I mean, what is it? You need 2 bullets to kill someone.
Yeah.
You can be a little bit more in the front line.
You
can, like, let's say here in Overpass A, you're coming toilets. Someone is throwing the flash. You kill the guy stands behind standard boxes. Kill him, who is usually the opper, and then you can basically strafe and hold stairs. You don't need to smoke it because the guy can just hit 1 bullet. The guy has like 30 HP left, and then like, or you can just molly the shit, you know, like. But I don't know, like I can still see Autosniper actually be actively good in this like meta, but I don't know how to explain it in a good language that everyone would understand my like thought process with it. But I would have loved to see that into the game because, like, what's it Chad said? The gun hasn't changed at all, and it's exactly the same cost, and it's not even more than the fucking op, and you actually get rewarded more with money for it.
I feel like people are just sharper. Like the AKs or the M4s on the other side, mostly AKs. Are just gonna be fucking too fast. Like you're not gonna get the second bullet in, you're gonna die. And that,
I mean, people are better at trading, and that's also part of it. Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest difference between the op is like you just get 1 bullet off, and that's enough to get the kill, right? So
it's partly as well like where you would utilize an Autosniper in most positions are positions that typically offers hold as well. And like the counter to an Autosniper is an op simply because you just kill with 1 bullet.
It's 1 versus 2.
Yeah,
sure.
But I think there are some use cases for like maps like Ancient. If you play Temple on A, like holding like the A main halls, for instance, because you don't see an op necessarily, you know, search out that area. Yeah, exactly. So you can, you know, get pot shots on multiple rifles as they're going through, and you don't have to like get completely messed up by a smoke or a Molotov or something. Yeah, you can actually get multiple chances to do damage in a spot like that. But I think it has like niche areas, which I think is perfectly fine. I think it's a similar thing to what like when Tizian would use the AUG back in 2013, because he was a rifle player who played Yard, right?
Yeah.
Like when typically you would have only offers outside. But you know, as a rifler, he was like, okay, I guess I'll just use the AUG because that has a scope. It works out nicely for this, so I could take the duels up on silo. And I think that the auto has like that kind of a work area where it's like, I'm not gonna get duels with an op, but I could get pot shots in and fight through the, you know, potential smokes and utility.
Just quickly back with the game with those of us who are, you know, I'm sure some of you are only tuning in for the match. The previous round, not the eco they just did, that was it. That's game. They're pretty much fucked now. It's pretty much GG, I would imagine. This Ecstatic roster is an interesting one here, right? There's a bunch of names we've seen plenty of times before within the Danish scene.
Yeah,
I seem to see them all thrown together here.
The thing is, like, it's basically like 4 ex-Masonic guys now.
Yeah.
With what's the last guy? Fuck, I forgot the names.
This Kragen guy, I don't know at all.
Yeah, Kragen's really good.
Kragen's
really, really good.
The rest of the people are pretty familiar if you know anything about that team. The second
Queenix a lot,
top,
Max a lot,
Queenix was even, I feel like, in that Existence
like
roster.
In Flames, isn't it?
Yeah.
No
that
deals.
they sold to Existence at some point. Was that their roster?
Yeah, you're right. You got it right.
So, and this Breezer guy, he was an Astralis talent.
Yes.
Masonic also before that. So he played with some of these guys before already. So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like the next coming of the Danish talent, I guess. This team.
I think Kragen is like very similar to Javi and Staben in terms of like what kind of player he is.
Okay,
he's really
an amazing player. Is that the?
No, I'm not saying he's at the same skill level right now or anything like that, but he plays a similar type or similar brand of Counter-Strike. He's really, really good.
Surely that.
How'd you explain that brand of Counter-Strike?
Overall solid. He's not like an expert necessarily. He's not an extraordinary hyper. Yeah,
like an all-around player
at an extremely good level.
That's a keep. That's a big kill.
Watch this. No, maybe not.
I mean, it's both coming from CT, so it looks like it's kind of over, but it's like 12 seconds now.
Can
10
you
seconds?
spam the whole...
That was a real bang moment
no,
right there.
Nice.
Off the no scope,
There you
of
go.
course.
Hey, Strat, you still play a lot. Could he actually technically spam him there?
The plant spot? Or on the
When
truck?
he was on track, you know, when he was looking, since we see him, the enemy guy, could he actually technically spam him there with all?
Good question. I think through that metal pole, right? He could have opted through that, the exhaust on the back of the truck. The thing that is misleading about this truck is those windows, right? Like those windows you can't shoot through. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think
Such a
Bulletproof glass, man. What
yeah,
is
but that
it?
doesn't make sense. That one there makes no sense. That's the only thing that doesn't make well, maybe not the only thing. It's definitely one of the things that doesn't make much sense. I don't get that. Maybe it hasn't even been pointed out to them because I remember there was once upon a time on old Inferno, there was like a lip of a wall that was spammable and the lip of the wall that was the same lip, but on the other side wasn't spammable. I remember pointing out to Valve and they fixed it. But like there's some stuff like that, which I guess has just never really been highlighted to them because they tend to fix a lot of shit if it doesn't make sense.
You know,
Remember how you
Ancient?
could drop the bomb through that floorboard where the bomb was just now?
All right.
And you just lost the bomb in the middle of the round.
I can remember when the bomb used to be able to get stuck in between the barbecue on B on Inferno, and it happened to me at a minor qualifier. At a minor, not even a qualifier. That was sad. That was really sad.
Phoenix is the big round now. There's one.
Two.
Still alone though.
Three.
He did his job.
Yeah.
His job is to play Counter-Strike, and he did it.
Purely body, not known to be an open out.
Gave it up instantly.
Understandably. All right, well that's got to be the game, surely. Surely.
Oh, the money.
The other money
The money is trash.
Give us some play-by-play.
I'm watching on the fucking preview, and I'm having struggles like with names and kills and like money and stuff. It's because the quality is kind of like.
If it gets exciting, we'll get some play-by-play.
Static 15 to 10
now.
now.
You need to set it up. You're the color.
Backs are against the wall right now here for Heat. AK's come out in the hands of Body. Galil for Jax, but that's the best they have to boast. The util it slide on, and once again back over towards Connector with heavy presence.
Breezer with the peak. That's the first frag. Is it all falling apart for Heat here? And now there's a lot. So
then the color has to come back in, or we let it breathe. It really depends. You know that there's a lot to talk about in that regard. But this push, Cabby, the second AWP, can you believe it? They're all boxed in. The bomb, it's locked over towards the top of bathrooms here, and there's 3 players towards A. Breezer, he's taken another. Body, he's hit the deck. The AK's down. Hurricane in chat. He's called GG. So is Extreme. Report bot and Nerd2K. They all know it's over. The writing's on the wall, and the all bullet in the back. The bomb's down, and ECSTATIC, they're looking to do it here. Overheat. The French wave the white flag.
In a minute
and then I send an invoice, and then the money comes, and everyone's happy.
That's normally how that goes. No, he recovers.
Not even that.
Nothing. Everything's going wrong for Heat right now. Seems like they pulled down. And that's it. That's the game.
And that's what we came here for. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to immediately jump into the quiz. The Skinionaire.
Why are you sad, Lucas? These are Danes playing.
Is he sad?
I mean, he did like a little emoji on the map.
Well, he also had to observe that entire thing. So he's probably been really enjoying the last hour where he's had to literally observe everything.
Director.
I mean, he has auto-director, I'm sure.
Oh, did he? Okay, never mind.
No.
I can't cancel everything I said.
Auto-director doesn't work when the match is over.
Oh, yeah, for the last round.
So when the match is like done in real time, then auto-director breaks. So this is like, I'm gonna ruin so many people's games now. If the observing gets bad when they're close to finishing the game.
Yeah, the game used to lag back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a lag.
When someone dies, then it just like the camera just stays on the dead person, doesn't go to anyone else. Like good job.
All right, let's jump into who wants to be a Skinionaire here. Halvor, you want to hang around? You can be Chris's.
I'll observe from the sidelines.
Halvor and Striker should do this because it's actually questions about get right. So
okay.
Get right. Don't
let's do it.
Just laugh.
I like this.
Okay, yeah, I'll get another.
All right. Let me bring up Skinionaire. Give me a second here. Let me give it a little bit of a refresh. Now, people in chat, if you want to win a skin, Halvor and Striker are going to attempt to do so. They're going to attempt to get you all the goodies. The questions, as Prof has just told us, are about get right. Type Bitskins in chat right now for your opportunity to enter the draw to win one of these lucky items. Everybody, we're waiting for Chris to come back. You can see him in the kitchen. The fridge door is open.
The last question is you can't see it. I think on the preview we only can see it.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
By the way, is there a timer to this? Because I can't see.
60 seconds.
I'll have to use this.
It's all right. You won't. I'll read it all out. You won't have to worry about it.
Oh, he's not in the.
I'll just read it out. It's all good.
Yeah, all right.
I got it. All right, we're ready. Question. Just a second. All right.
Just a second. Okay, 1 second.
Play the elevator music. That's not elevator music. I don't know where I was going. Yeah, yours is better. Mine was going to be
what is this?
Copyright music, I guess. We're waiting for Lucas right now, so we're filling air. Dead air right now.
Who made the questions for this one? Is it you, Prof?
Yeah.
Did you do like a deep dive to like where was Chris born and like what hour of the day type of thing? Or
maybe.
Okay. I can tell you what team he played for before he joined the group at Rendezvous.
What is his star sign? Chinese zodiac. These things.
Can you tell me that one? I don't even know that one.
What year? 91?
90.
I don't know. I wouldn't know 91 either, so it's the same.
Why did you say 91? It's not like you were so like comfortable with it.
It was a bait. It's what you did best in your prime.
All right, Lucas is ready now. So let's get in with question number 1 of who wants to be a Skinionaire. And the lights would dim. Question 1. Get right 1 IEM Oakland 2 years in a row against FaZe and... Is it A, SK, B, Fnatic, or C, G2?
I don't remember G2 being in the final of Oakland.
They are famous for making finals, though. That is their whole thing.
Yeah, but I don't think they were there. I mean,
I'll repeat the options. A, SK, B, Fnatic, C, G2.
Well, I would have to imagine that this was 17 and 16, right?
That is correct.
So if it's 16, then it's definitely not G2.
No.
So it has to be. So it's Brazilian SK. It's Brazilian SK or Swedish Fnatic, right?
Yeah. I think SK.
I'll join you on that one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do SK.
Locking in A, SK. The correct answer, Chris, is
SK.
Bang. Woo. Okay, 1 from 1. Out the gates here. Hot to trot. We're going to be moving into question number 2.
Good teamwork. I like how they worked on this.
They broke it down.
One was the weaker one, was the stronger one. You know, that's a good one. The weaker one just followed. You know.
Yeah, so that one's going to be a follow-up.
That's true.
Question 2, Lucas. Where's my question? Only 3 players represented NiP, SK, and Fnatic. Get right, Forest, and is it A, Spawn, B, Temple, or C, Khan?
Temple, no. Temple.
Yeah,
it's not Karn because he never played with an IP for sure. Yeah. He didn't play with SK either.
Temple was a part
Spawn
of the
played with SK. He
and
played with an IP, but he didn't play with Fnatic. So I think it's Temple.
Yeah, Temple.
Looking in B, Temple, and the correct answer is Temple. Not many people remember it. Well, I guess if you're old like us, you probably will. Yeah. But he got fucking jacked.
He's massive now.
He loved the gym. Whatever he did to get excited about the gym, I need to. All right. Question number 3.
Broken heart.
At what major did Flipside and Get Right's major playoff streak? Was it A, Cluj, Minoka? Okay, never mind. Cologne 2016. Locked in. Correct answer is Cologne 2016. So we're doing sad questions as well, are we, Prof?
There's everything.
Okay, there's emotions here.
It's a roller coaster.
It says somewhere I'm crying as well.
Okay. Well, here we go. Let's see. We'll see if he has it all in there. Question number 4. So far, 3 from 3. Striker and Halvor are smashing these. How many of the following players have more MVPs than Get Right? coldzera, Nico, and Guardian. Is it answer A, 2, B, 1, or C, 0? How many of the following players have more MVPs than Get Right? Cold Zero,
the
Nico,
only one,
Guardian.
I think it's 0.
You should know this though, because
I
you're
think
the
it's
one handing
0,
them out,
because-
right?
It's not Guardian. It's 100% not Guardian. Not Guardian didn't have more because Get Right has like I don't even actually remember the number, but it's like a lot. It's a lot, and the only one I think could be is Cold Zero because of like two good years in a row. But I think it's none of them.
20 seconds.
It's to me, it's either Cold or nobody, because I think Nico's been
Yeah,
basically
that's
on
my
a hot
thinking
streak ever since together with Taiwan Simple. So
Get Right has more than 10, or I'm for sure. I think none of them have more than 10.
All right.
Yeah, I think Get Right just won so many MVPs in 13, 14. Yeah, let's go 0.
Looking at 0, correct answer is 0. Chris, they're smashing this. They know more about you than. Did you know the answer to that?
This question, bro.
This one? I actually didn't know that one, to be honest.
I was like, well, Cold Zero won back-to-back majors.
How
maybe.
close is Gold?
I mean, Get Right had like, you have like 14.
No,
No,
it must be like.
No, Get Right has 10, and Cole has like 8, and
Yeah.
Guardian has 8, and Nico has 7 or something like that.
Wait, he only has 7? I thought he had more than that.
It's because he's playing against Simple and so.
it's a bit.
True.
And
Bit of
you
a bad
won like
deal.
7 tournaments in a row, like 15 tournaments in a row. So that also helped you farmed out.
Okay, question number 5.
Okay,
This is a good
curious
one.
about that one.
So where? Oh, okay. Question 5. Outside of CS 1.6 and CSGO, esportsearnings.com, a very reputable website, note GT. What am I doing? No, Get Right's winning prize money in 2 more games. Which ones? Quake 3 and FIFA, Warzone and Assetto Corsa, or Dota 2 and Rocket League?
I feel like the middle one is so random that it's almost like gotta be that. I have no idea what that game even is. Assetto Corsa.
Assetto Corsa
Wait,
is
wait,
a
wait.
racing game.
How do you
It's a
not
racing
know
game.
Assetto Corsa?
I was about to say, wait, no, that was Assetto Corsa is not Forza, right? Because for a second I thought it would be
No.
like a CGS combined thing, and because they were part of a franchise and they won some stuff, then Get Right would have been.
No, CGS
I mean, I would've-
was Project Gotham Racing.
Okay,
by the
I'm
way.
gonna get a punt and say Dota 2 and Rocket League, but I just have no fucking idea. No.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna say like Chris plays Dota, but he doesn't play it a lot. I do think he
3 seconds.
played Warzone a fair
seconds.
bit. Okay, I would say Warzone and Assetto Corsa.
I'm gonna lock it in. This is the hardest question
I have no idea.
ever in the history of Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire. And
But
Do
did
we
you wanna
ask
go
the
with-
man himself?
I went with B, Warzone, and Chris.
not wanna
Can
go-
you? Well, it's too late. It's locked in now.
Oh shit!
Sorry, guys. I can I change it, Lucas?
No.
Just reveal the answer.
Ask Chris.
Chris, what's the
Just
answer?
reveal.
To be honest, I'm very like I know like one of the games, but the funny thing is actually it is correct, and it is Warzone and Assetto Corsa, but it is incorrect though.
Oh, the website's wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
What
also
the
earned money
fuck
somewhere
is
else.
Assetto Corsa? Oh no. Okay, now I
It's a
remember. But then-
racing
Do you
game.
remember?
I know. No, I remember it. It was in Russia. I remember that one. But in the same time, here it is. It is actually one more game.
Oh,
If I'm gonna be honest, and it's actually Quake, but it's not Quake 3. It's actually Quake World, the first game.
okay.
And I played it
Okay.
actually professionally when I was a kid, when I was like 10, and that is maybe like $25.
How much
though,
did
but still.
you earn?
Nice.
We should update esports earnings with that. Someone should submit.
There we go. Let's see, email.
$25. Like, bro, like I that's why I was like so quiet. I had to Google it. I was like, what the fuck is that game? Like, I have no idea, but I remember it now. It was like,
This was
I think it's like one of those, what was it called? Epicenter event. And we did like some sort of like a small tournament there on the side or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Was that the
Epicenter
sim
2018.
cars that
Oh,
they
I
had?
think it is. I
They
think
were
it is.
sponsored by the oil company. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
okay.
Oh, I didn't know that
fucking
you actually
Twist,
got money for that.
Twist earned $8,000.
Oh, it did?
What?
What? Where,
In
where
Assetto
did
Corsa,
you even
or-
see
It was
that
like a
tournament
10 or
somewhere?
15K tournament, which is just like a time trial essentially, and Twist got 8,000.
I thought that was
Stuff.
something they just had like in the backstage area for players and like talent and crew
No,
to like dick around with at the hotel.
No,
or
they
something.
also
It was a
invited
tournament.
the guy that's now casting Valorant, Zecht. He
Yes.
was there just for that, essentially.
Oh wait, now I remember.
So it was
He had to do the piece on that the whole time, didn't he?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
Was this the event where we had the drive-by shooting outside of the hotel?
What the fuck?
sounds familiar.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
that one,
Yeah,
right?
it is that one. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. Yeah. I was so surprised when that happened. Actually, I
didn't
remember
write a
I was
book,
in
boys.
like lobby or something.
I
was,
didn't
like,
see
walking
that,
by.
but I saw like a police chase in the city, just like casually, just like someone tried to stop a car and car being vroom vroom. Who cars?
There we go.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we have our winner, and our winner is Bonk Bonk 57, who is a new follower.
Solid name.
As of the 18th of this month.
Perfect.
So congratulations,
really
Mr. Bonk Bonk
Corny
57.
bonk
Our people will reach out to your people and we'll bonk you a couple of skins, mate. Congratulations, 5 from 5. Okay, so that was Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, and now the final thing of tonight's show is our N1 moment. Now we like to grab something every week. Just to highlight within the community that's happened throughout. I think last week we highlighted, Chris, your little get together with Forrest and Freiburg to compete in the RMRs. That was a nice little heartwarming moment for all of us. And this time round, we've gone for something of a little bit more of a funny vibe. I'm waiting for Lucas to give me the big green thumbs up, but we'll bring that link up for everybody at home. Now, if you want to submit, guys, N1 moments, right? And this is for the viewers at home right now. When we're about to do a show of something that you liked, maybe send us a tweet, let us know, and we might highlight it on the show, because this is something which is, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. But this one right now, Lucas, I'm still filling. You're the producer who's really quiet. Okay, and we bring it up. And this one is the memes in full force. So this is big. Going and placing a nice revised logo on G2's door in their prac rooms. 02. So this is fun. G2 are now getting mocked by everybody, even in person.
The part where he runs away. That's
you like that?
That's like by the way, like from me like 5 meters away, by the way. It's like exactly that place.
Go knock and see how they're doing, mate. Go see.
Yeah, I met a couple of them.
I think the problem with that is, like, G2 don't have a problem memeing on himself, but when other people start to do it, that's when they like will swing back with their like fucking social media. You better hope nothing goes wrong. That's all I'm saying. That's all. And there he is, the man himself, Carlos.
I mean, just go down, go more. There you go.
Big as well.
That's good fun. That's good fun.
Yeah. I think G2 might have actually some plans with that. I don't know if that's gonna come when they win or lose or whatever happens.
Okay.
I just saw a certain video content manager type person with that exact paper, just like doing some, apparently having done something with it. So let's just see if something else is coming.
All right, cool. Well, that kind of rounds out the end of the show. I don't know if we want to field some questions here or anything. We have been going for 2.5 hours now. Is everyone feel we've done enough?
Yeah, I mean that's our usual show, right?
Okay, cool. Well, I guess I can close it down now and do my job as the host of this thing. Chris, thank you very much for joining us for this evening. It was great to just shoot the shit and talk a bit of casual Counter-Strike here as we had a game going on. We covered a lot of topics. Halvor, vENdetta, thank you for joining us and offering your insight here. We did cover a lot here tonight. Chris, do you want to plug anything? Where can the people find you?
No. Yes, join me on Twitch. Exactly like my nickname. I'm streaming pretty much every weekday. On the mornings, if you want to sit there and sip your coffee and just vibe out and see someone that's pretty bad at CS though.
Or you can maybe sometimes, if I wake up in time, can watch Chris and Nyanya and everybody carry me. So yeah, that's possible. And Halvor, what are you up to these days, mate? You're coaching Skade X.
Yeah, helping out some Norwegians and seeing if we can do something.
Okay,
pretty much. Yeah, doing that.
This is one question I got for you, I suppose, before we close it down. Everybody wants to know what happened to Croman.
Oh, what happened to Croman? I guess story as old as time. Standing has great event with a good team. Has X amount of offers. Some of them don't necessarily pan out for various reasons, like either incompatibility, just personality-wise, or playstyle-wise, etc. Waits around for the major cycle in hopes of getting something else that works out. That doesn't happen. Loses motivation, stops playing.
Well, that's sad. And on that somber note, pursue your dreams. Good night, everybody.
Add some fun to your space with Xtrfy, designed in Sweden with focus on quality products built on experience. You're looking at Project 4, their 4th generation of products with super cool colorways to stand out, with matching sets to satisfy with a solid B4 bungee, lightweight ergonomic M4 mouse, the K4 keyboard is fantastic, all of which are performance focused, and finish it off with colorful GP4 mouse mats that are bold in design and smooth on the surface. The retro theme in particular has got the feels. Complete your setup with Xtrfy. No regrets, guaranteed.
Stuck ranking up? Lost the motivation to grind? Bored of clicking heads on aim maps? Get some color into your game. Bitskins.com. Buying and selling skins made easy. Tons of payment methods and instant cash outs. Just choose your dream skins, select your preferred payment method, and start grinding again. If you want to play like the pros, you gotta look like the pros.
Do you feel it? N1Bet comes to brighten up your world. Play anytime, anywhere. Just go to n1bet.com and get your bonus with promo code HLTV. High odds and fast payouts. Playing is a pleasure when everything is clear. N1bet.com. Your bet, your game.